And now on Who's Views, it's time for the latest headlines with JT and the Whotastic panel.
Hello, Who viewers, how are you? Yes, it's us again here on the channel with another headlines. It's your Sunday big show. Hope you are all well. It is lovely to see you. It's Sunday, the 18th of August, 2024. This year is just swooshing by, isn't it? But what another interesting week in the UK. That's all I'm going to say with that. For the moment, that is. We've got another big show coming up for you tonight. Lots to discuss. Lots and lots and lots of opinion from you guys wanted as well. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming in and seeing us in the chat. The topic of conversation that I'm going to be asking you all about tonight is Bad Wolf. Have you heard? They are pressing on. They are pressing on. We're going to be coming to that very, very shortly. And I want to know why. Are they being completely and utterly arrogant? Are they not listening? All the usual questions here. And, you know, do we think they're going to be around? Because they certainly do. So we're going to come to that very shortly. As ever, I'm joined on the panel tonight. I've got to start with this evening. We've got third Dr. Ian, who's there. Hello to you.
Hello.
Hello. So we've got a nice big show coming up. We do have Paul on the way, but he's been working today, hasn't he, Ian? So he's on the way.
Yeah, he's had a bit of a busy day, so he'll catch us when he can. We'll be ready for him.
I'm sure. We've got lots of people joining us in the chat, so it's lovely, lovely, lovely to see you. So thank you for that. Oh, look, Michael's back. Hello, Michael Q. Hello, JT. I'm back, baby. Yes, it's nice to see you, Michael. How are you feeling? Hope everything's all right with you. That's good to know, isn't it?
Yeah, welcome back, Michael.
Yeah. Silk Vampy is with us all the way from Germany. Hello, lovely. How are you doing? Hope you are well. And we've got Talons of Wayne Chiang with us, Ian.
Good to see him. Always good to see him.
Always good to see them all, isn't it? I do look forward to this
show. It is,
actually.
Yeah.
Well, there's one for you from Michael. Look, I'm back.
And we're glad you're back, baby, too.
Wayne's with us as well. And so is the Peter Venkman fan site. And as I say, we've got lots coming up for you. So hopefully, your opinions, you'll be as ever, throwing your opinions at us, and I will be looking, oh my god, I can't keep up with everybody. Pete's with us as well. I love that opening. It's memories of good telly and the BBC. Yes, it is our opening there. Yes, I'm glad you like that, because that's exactly what it's supposed to do. So that's great to know. Mrs. Elisa Pertwee's gal is with us as well. Nice to see you, lovely. And Glenn Piper is with us there too. Matt, the Silent Wee Music King, good to see you. Kirsty's popping in as well. She's very busy as well at the moment.
Kirstylicious.
Kirstylicious, yeah. John, hello to you, John. How are you? And the Legion of James as well. Good evening, all. Hope everyone is well. So ends another week and bang 'em up, Blighty. Looking forward to hearing what RTD the Big I Am is offering up now. Oh.
He really shouldn't have written that, because now it's online and it'll be 5 years in prison at least.
Divine and Dragons with us. And Michael Hallett is with us as well. It's good to see you all. It really, really is good to see you all. Oh, and Julianne's there as well. Hello. Nice to see you as well. What else we got? Yes, so that's lovely. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. There are lots of you now. Which RTD bit, Anthony? That RTD picture needs updating. He's about twice the size now. He's very girthy. Which one's that? I haven't shown any yet, have I?
Whatever the girth, it's not as wide as his arrogance, is it? Really?
Not at all. It really isn't. Really isn't. Mike Disney is with us as well. Oh, it's lovely to see you all. Thank you so much. You do cheer me up. You do cheer me up on a Sunday evening.
It's a great community, isn't it? It's developing into a really good community.
I hope so.
Everybody really valued, regardless of opinions. It's really good.
Yeah, Stephen. Hi all, we'll be on tonight, but I've fractured my hand, so I may not type as much, but I'm here. Well, it's good to know that, and I'm sorry about your hand. I've got one of your pictures coming up a little bit later in the show as well, Stephen, so thank you for sending me all that. So that's wonderful. And he's just I will type best I can with my busted hand. Just be careful. Just because it's very important. Make sure it's you're not sore. And Sean is with us as well. Sean McNally is saying to us, whose views is the best? Well, I'm going to agree with that. Of course I am. But on that, I'm going to say a huge thank you to Michael Q. Thank you very much. And Barry Back Saviour John. for getting in touch with you, for your comments and your emails. So thank you for that. I've got a lot more thank yous coming up later in the show. I know I usually say thank you to everybody at this point of the show, but stay with us because I'm going to be tying it into one of our stories coming up later. See, I planned it.
Cunning.
I am.
Very cunning.
And what's this from Garbage? JT, your camera looks better today. It's nice and clear. We can see everything. Can you? It's usually the lighter thing that you can't see things, but can you? That's good to know. There's not much that everybody hasn't got there. That's the DVD shelves right behind me.
JT coming at you in 8K.
Oh God, can you imagine that? That would be bizarre, wouldn't it? And hello, Jabe. Good evening, everyone. I'm looking forward to the show. Well, that's good to know. So let's crack on then, will we? I want to start, if I may. Oh, look at this. There's Bill Lowry saying hi there. Thank you. And Simon Anthony's with us as well, saying hello as well. Yeah, just before we start as well, I'd like to say a huge happy birthday to our very own Bedouia. So happy birthday, mate. Nice. I hope you've had a lovely day at the cricket. He's off to the cricket.
Happy birthday, fella.
Happy birthday to Bedouia. He's 21 again today.
That statistical behemoth.
Which is usually the stuff he's reporting on from the BBC and stuff, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. But it gives us good reports. I mean, they're quite absorbing, aren't they? It's just
they're
like
fabulous reports on that one. And we've got something else coming up later on, which he's probably going to be seething about. And because it's his birthday, he's not here to talk about it. So we'll save that hopefully for the future. But I want to start off with a picture of this. Now, a huge thank you to Sean Cryer, who is in the chat. For this, isn't this a gorgeous picture of a certain police box out and about? Isn't that fabulous? I love this picture. Isn't that fabulous?
That is gorgeous.
Yeah.
You can just imagine Hartnell stepping out of that, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, the Yeti lumbering down the hill. He's also sent us this one.
Oh. Now, I could definitely imagine the Yeti in that. That's very Troughton-esque as a box, isn't it?
Isn't it just? Isn't that fabulous? Who views from Sean? And he was out and about, obviously, and just found police boxes in the middle of nowhere. There's this one as well. You got a close up. Look at this.
Love that.
Isn't it fantastic?
That's gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Sean, thank you for that. And you may be wondering, well, what's that all about? Well, when I do this picture that Sean showed us, you'll know.
Wonderful.
Isn't it great? Because these are the boxes that Sean himself has built for his various figures. I'm on all right, Sean. You're in the chat there, aren't you? So it isn't that one. And here's one you're going to like here, Third Doctor Ian.
Oh, that's just amazing. Love that. Love that. So he's built those boxes himself?
You have, haven't you, Sean?
Wow.
He says, haha, thank you.
Well, they're brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The photos in general, but if those boxes are scratch built, then hats off. That's incredible.
I think this one, and correct me in the chat, Sean, if not, I think this one, I know that one of them definitely is 6th scale and was made in 2008 to go with his big chief figures. And then the others, as you can see there, go with the character options one because they're just one. But how beautiful is the box? Absolutely love it.
Wow.
Yeah. Lots of praise coming in here for Sean as well. Yes, he's saying that. Yes, I did make them. Look at that.
Incredible.
Isn't that fabulous?
Great workmanship.
They're stunning. And I love the way that he's taken those photographs because when he sent me the first one, I thought, oh, where's this? Why is that police box out there? I was completely fooled, who viewers. I thought, what's that big size thing doing out there? Is this a new one? What's going on? DJ Divine Dragon is saying they're nice shots. Peter is saying, oh, yes, very nice. What else we got? Garbage is saying, nice work, mate, to him. And that's great. Nice boxes, say John Mason. Look at all this for you, Sean. Isn't that wonderful? Peter Venkman Fansite is giving you a round of applause and thumbs up. And Matt is saying, I doubt Joe would survive in the snow in that outfit. Yeah, I know what you mean. Bill is also saying fantastic work to you, Sean. And excellent, says Stephen Braddock. Does anyone else do that in the chat? When you hear that word, you all go, excellent. Or is it just me?
You do have David Bankshead voice in your background, don't you? You can't help it, I don't think. If you're of a certain age.
It's very, very strange, isn't it? Joe prepared, Joe very prepared. It's lovely, says Pete. There we go from Talon saying fantastic. Oh, look at this great detail. He's also saying Sean knows his stuff. And Michael is asking, where was the snow? It's awesome as Well, it's probably in the garden, wasn't it, Sean? He's saying to us here, it's a 3rd scale, JT, 3 foot tall. That's still pretty cool, isn't it? Amazing stuff. So well do. And Kev is with us saying, oh, brilliant. They look amazing, Sean. All these comments for you, fabulous, Sean. Well done. And thank you so much for sending those in. Because I knew people would like all those. As we look at all these comments, it's fantastic. It's all making me blush, says Sean. Well, good. I'm pleased about that.
Deserved.
Yes, it really is. Yeah. I remember when I was a boy, myself and my granddad made a police box. Sometimes I wish I still had it, because I'd be able to do it up now as an adult the way I would like it to do. Like it to be. Be fantastic. And so let's go. And Legion of James is telling me, yep, everyone goes, excellent. That's good to know. So thank you. And it was on Pendle Hill, says Sean. If you want to look that up after the show, you can do. Pendle Hill. That's where it was all filmed. Absolutely marvelous. Good, great shots, great photographs. So thank you so much again, Sean, for sending me that in. I really, really appreciate it. And here's Tyler Durden also saying, brilliant, Sean. Nice to see you, mate. Hope you are well. So yeah, that's all the thing. That if you have anything you want to send into Whose Views, or if you've got an email, if you just want to chat, I'm going to say it again. It takes me a while to get around to replying to you, but you are very welcome to get in touch. And please do get in touch with us. You can get in touch with me at whoseviews1@gmail.com. It's whoseviews1@gmail.com. And always pleased to see you all. But as I say, it could take me a while to get back to you, but don't let that worry you. There you go. So thanks for that, Sean. Really appreciate it. Right, let's crack on, Ian. Paul, I'm sure will be whisking his way down to join us very soon, but we're going to crack on with the story, because this week Doctor Who magazine was released. Did you all get it? Oh, I'm funny. I'm sure you all didn't. As usual, though, just for you, I traipsed down to my local Tesco, or the supermarket stores are available, had a coffee and read it. And there's no way I'm spending that sort of money on this magazine every single month. It's just nonsense. Have you seen it recently, Ian?
I've whenever I've ventured Tesco's woods, if that's a word, I've seen it. But for example, if it used to be, if it had Whittaker on the cover, I just wouldn't touch it. But I have to add Gatwa to that. It just instantly puts me off. It's not a magazine about the program I love anymore. But then again, it's never been the program I love for a long time. So, no, I've not looked at it for a while.
Yeah, well, it's not worth you looking at, to be quite honest. And this is the one this week.
I'd rather you do it.
Exactly. This is the one this week, everybody, wasn't it? Where you've got the waxwork of Ncuti Gatwa, and then the waxwork of Ncuti. I'm sorry. No, you've got the real one with the waxwork, and the competition in the magazine this month is to spot which one is which. You have to send in a postcard. Oh, we're wicked this evening.
So cruel and so true.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Peter is saying, Dividing Dragon is saying, sorry, I look forward to your reports on the magazine. I don't pick them up now. And no, and thrice no, says Pete Harrington about this. And Michael says, no, JT, and oh, JT, stop messing about. I can't help myself, Michael. Sorry, it's just coming here. And hello to Ross. Ross is joining as well. Anyway, I was sitting there, everybody, as I do, for your delectation and delight, and for this wonderful channel and show that we are all building here. And I sit there and I look at this stuff going, what could I possibly use to talk about in the show, if anything? And it's always giving the goods. But of course, because it's published whenever it is, we've usually spoken about it on this show anyway. But there were a couple of things that got me about this particular version, this edition of Doctor Who magazine. Nearly forgot what it was called. Doctor Who magazine. And one of them concerns this thing, which is available at the end of this month, or any time from tomorrow, really, depending on what shops you go. If you're looking for this, it's due. If you're looking for it, and at the price it is, why would you want to? But if you're looking for it, there it is. It was this article here from a chap I don't know called Chris Bentley. Now, look at this. As much as we love them, the cold hard truth is that the early Doctor Who annuals of the 60s and 70s were a bit naff, full of wacky tales pitting Doctor Who against devil birds, phaser aliens, and sinister sponges, and paddled out with mind-numbing articles about animal astronauts, pioneers of space, and the unknown world under the sea. Fast forward to the present, and Puffin Book's Doctor Who, the official manual 2025, is in a different class together. But then Puffin always did know how to produce a quality annual for children. The Puffin annuals of 1974 and 75 set a high bar for magazine format gift books. What Puffin annuals of 1974 and 1985? It was done by a company called World Distributors, you utter weirdo. This year's Doctor Who annual is very much a yearbook companion to the television series, presenting a potted rundown of most of the episodes broadcast in 2023 to 24. Only The Legend of Ruby Sunday and Empire of Death are omitted. That's because it went to print before they were broadcast or given the releases, which is a silly thing to do. Unusually, a number of these include first-person narratives from the characters involved, the 14th Doctor in Wild Blue Yonder, for example, or Lindy Pepperbean in Dot and Bubble. There are also feature spreads introducing the TARDIS, the Sonic Screwdriver, By Generation, and the various villains, Beat the Vlinks, puzzles, and a Dodge the Man Traps board game. Oh, yippee. Bursting with nearly 300 photos and introduction by actress Millie Gibson, this one is a must-have for anyone who enjoyed the TV escapades of the 15th Doctor so far. So, I mean, hello. As much as we love them, the cold hard truth is that the early Doctor Who annuals of the 1960s and 70s were a bit naff. Insanity rules there, Ian. How dare he? Listen, mister. What's his name? Let me just say his name again. Chris Bentley. Listen, Chris Bentley. Those annuals are now worth more than any of your versions of the annuals are going to ever get to, because they're always in junk shops for about 50p, you know, and charity shops for 50p and a pound. Those annuals from the other are
that for a pack of 10.
Yeah, the original Charlton annuals, for example, are, and Pertwee, anywhere between £200 £500 you can end up paying for a decent copy. I can guarantee you none of the modern day annuals are going to be that price ever. I
paid 60 or 80 quid for the pink Pertwee annual.
That's I've got that one now. Yeah,
that was in the mid 90s. So, you know, add 30 years on that, and it'll be, I don't know, Chris Bentley, and it would be cheap and tatty to say that my opinion is that he's a misinformed knob rocket, and I wouldn't dream of saying that. However, I find him a bit of a misinformed knob rocket, I have to say. He's just, they weren't naff. You just had to look at the cover and you were like, my favorite of all time is the first one I ever got, which is Pertwee's Last, where the cover is him around the ice pools on Spiridon from Planet of the Spiders. Daleks, Planet of the Daleks. Spiders. Yeah. And that picture I still love to this day, but it was peak Pertwee. It was a picture of peak Pertwee. There's too many P's there. And it was just, yeah, all right. But the thing is, they were doing stuff about the mysteries under the sea. Let's face it, that was a Jodie Whittaker script with sea devils in just a couple of years ago. So let's not be too clever about that. But in the early 70s or the late 60s, that was, you've got to remember, most of those, the Troughton and Pertwee annuals came out before somebody set foot on the moon. You know, so all those things being shot into space, that was real cutting edge stuff at the time, and people really got grip with it. What he's doing is taking something from the mid 1960s, looking at it from a 2024 LGBTQIA representation angle, and being a dick about it.
I totally agree. This could be, and this could be another version of the Time Team if it was allowed to be, because this is awful. I tell you what, there's somebody else. Richard's here. I would love to own all the classic annuals. I only have the 1976 annual. Do you know what, though, Richard? You can still find some of them for really good ones, especially the 80s. You need to go to antique book fairs, bookshops, second-hand bookshops. Even get yourselves in places like the charity shops, because some of them are there.
There's quite a few of the first Hartnell ones out. There's not so many of the second one. The first Hartnell one is the blue one. And there's very few of the Adventure in Space one, which was also Hartnell, and sort of like an annual supplement kind of thing. But it was like annual style, wasn't it? Was it the Adventure in Space or something? I mean, you know, they're well worth collecting, and they will certainly keep their value. Less so probably from Davison and Colin Baker, but everything through the first 4 Doctors. Yeah, if you can, get them.
Yeah. I can see the Colin Bacon ones becoming rarer and therefore more pricey because they were a limited print run, really. If you know. Let's see what this chap thinks, because joining us now is Paul. Hello there.
Hello there. Hello. What have I missed?
Hello
What
there.
have I missed?
What have you missed?
Just about wrapping it up, Paul, to be honest.
I'll tell you what you've missed. We're going to say this. We're going to go through this again because this was Doctor Who magazine out this week, and this really frustrated me. It's this bit here from this person, this writer, Chris Bentley, who says, as much as we loved them, the cold hard truth is that the early Doctor Who annuals of the 60s and 70s were a bit naff, full of wacky tales pitting Doctor Who against devil birds, phaser aliens, sinister sponges, and padded out with mind-numbing articles about animal astronauts, pioneers of space, and the unknown world under the sea. And that got me really frustrated, as you can tell. I'm thinking, hang on a minute. That was vital to all of us. We learned so much from those annuals. We were entertained about it. And those stories where Doctor Who, or the Doctor as he did become, was imagination. They were stories by other authors.
And the early ones particularly were really good because that's before all the continuity set in. So you had all these different things, all you could explore. The Zarbi comes back in the first annual, which is superb, but I think it's on one of the DVDs that William Russell narrates one of the stories, Lair of the Zarbi Supremo, I think it's called. Great story, great listen. And the artwork in it's amazing as well. So it's incredible, iconic artwork, and they're slagging it off.
Yes, absolutely.
It's because they don't know anything, and the writer is clearly an idiot.
Hold on one second.
If DWM are going out of their way to pay idiots to write crap, then so be it.
That's the first one.
I have one of these. And these are gorgeous. How can you look at even you've got the Zarbi on there, and you've got Vood and Monoptera, and some fantastic artwork in here. It's amazing. There's a great one of the Doctor in the console room, but even the opening of this, look at that. Isn't that artwork amazing? Beautiful stuff. Yeah.
Today, all they do is use Photoshop and photographs given to them by BBC Studios. You know, it's just ridiculous. We've got a lot of people commenting in the chat about this as well, so thank you all as well. Komodo was saying there, Dr. Mizero and the Plan of Mpox. Anthony Parkinson said,
I'd watch that, yeah.
A right pair of fakers on the new cover, the latest cover. Okay, thank you for that, Anthony.
Is that a mistype, fakers? Or
possibly.
Yeah.
Richard is saying dissing the classic annuals is a disgrace. And Mike Disney is saying mind-numbing means different things, I guess. It certainly does to those people, doesn't it? It's absolutely ridiculous what we've got. We've got here Lee Smith. Hello, Lee. No one is going to buy that new Doctor Who. And then there's that. I'm not sure what we can say, what we can't
That's not a typo.
And then Russ Morgan has said, I haven't seen the latest series story. Don't apologize because you missed nothing. If you want to have some idea, Russ, about what we lived through for 8 weeks of sheer ridiculousness, you can go and look at our playlist where we've got all our reviews of those 8 episodes. And you can see how gradually we are just dismantled bit by bit as we just go, this isn't Doctor Who. And just to let you know as well, our scores on the TARDIS Door feature, it got the lowest scores ever, with a lot of zeros in there for each episode as well from the Whotastic panel. So go and have a check. Chris Bentley, who is the writer of that piece here, you're a moron, says Richard Brooks, all alleged. Yeah, but I was going to say you have a right to your opinion, but something tells me you don't. And Legion of James is saying, oh my God, my Doctor Who annuals as a kid were the highlight of Christmas morning. I loved the stories. The third Doctor annuals were amongst my favourite, although bought many years later, because they're imaginative, aren't they, Legion of James? They are proper stories from people who are saying, oh, right, so we've got this alien, we've got this time, we've got this space time, and then they write a story about it. I lived on those stories as well through the 70s when Doctor Who was off air, and the comic strips especially. Do you remember the comic strips? You know, I love
one of my favourite ones. I think it's the 1974 annual, the blue one, which is really fantastic in that, and it's got great pictures and artwork of the demons and stuff like that. Really, really good. You know,
absolutely, it's absolutely fantastic. Peter Venkman fansite saying, right, it must have been left on the shelf. Rubbish, says Stephen Braddock. Oh, it's whose hand's okay. Well done. Rubbish. The early annuals were excellent. And Pete Harrington is saying, get out of town, you fool. Revisionism is part of the playbook, says Mike Disney, isn't it? Yeah. Isn't it just? I mean, we know that now as well. And John wants to know, is Chris on another planet? Yes, Planet Troll. as Kirsty would say. And Bill is saying to us here, try buying the Pink Pertwee annual for less than £200. Well, I don't think you can.
No.
You know, there are a lot of collectors for that one, and a decent one will cost you anywhere between £250, won't it, Paul?
Well, that's exactly. I was going to say that I got for my 50th birthday many moons ago. I got it for a present from a friend of mine, and he was very generous. But I know it cost him £250 to buy it for me.
Yeah,
he wasn't bragging. It was very kind of him. But
well, that's a great 50th birthday
yeah.
present as well. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
You wouldn't ask for anything else again until you're 60.
That's it. I'm not getting anything again from him. That's it. I'm off the list.
No, that's it. Yeah. Do you know what though? Thank you, Michael. Thank you for that. The only one I need right now is the Troughton, the Troughton one with the black cover with Jamie and the Cybermen in the TARDIS. And I know you've got that. That's the only one I need. And I know it's
this one. This one is beautiful. Absolutely.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've never seen it out of a glass case, and I can't wait to try and find it somewhere. Because part of the fun, isn't it, Who View, is finding the things as part of a collector.
Have you seen the fan made ones? They did a lovely homage to that cover with Colin Baker and Nicola Bryant, and there's like I think Colin and Nicola in the TARDIS with a kind of attack Cyberman in the doorway. It's superb.
I have.
Yeah.
And our friend Paul Tams, of course, recreated that cover as a great big art card like this. And we had it at Invasion Blackpool, and everyone was standing in front of it having their pictures taken with it. He did that and Doctor Who Annual #1, tidied up, recreated. Absolutely beautiful they were. So when the fans saw them on the wall, they were all standing in front of them getting the pictures taken with these beautiful versions of the annual, because he used to draw for the annuals, as we know. But this really, it got me frustrated here, just thinking how arrogant, this is going to be the running theme tonight, everybody, how arrogant and ridiculous of people, just because it was done in the 60s and 70s, and you know, they were good things. This is, I mean, if you look at the Beanos and the Dandies, they were all like this as well. They were really thick book, good stories that got us all through, you know, and got your imagination going and got you thinking about these planets that the writers were thinking about, and these enemies and these monsters. And they were just genuinely good science fiction as well. But now they want it all watered down because they don't know any better. You know what I'm saying?
I think if what you're producing now is utter toss, which it is, and
don't hold back. You don't want people to realize it's utter toss. Then the last thing you want to do, if it's Doctor Who you're talking about, is have them look at the classic proper stuff, because then they will have it made absolutely crystal clear how much the current stuff is utter toss and has been for a while. So perhaps this is part of the playbook, that they're slagging off so much the early stuff so people don't even try and look at it. Let's just say it was crap. Hope most people don't go looking for it, and then they may think that what they have now is an improvement and be grateful for it, when actually it's utter toss. I think that's the only reason I could think of. They'll be saying the memory cheats next, won't they? I bet they will.
Yeah.
It's just because they don't know the Bourne, basically, and they haven't even got the time of day to actually find one of these things, sit down with a cup of tea and a Jaffa cake and actually read it, because they're not interested in it. But how dare you insult these sort of things, because they're much better than the nonsense that Puffin Penguin BBC Studios are pushing out today. Simon Anthony is asking how much for a Hartnell #1. Now, that's a great question. The Hartnell first edition of the annual was actually quite widely distributed, and you can still get it today from antique bookshops. Now, I have actually seen it for £65, Simon. So if you find it for that price, now I do know it goes up to around about 100. The second Hartnell annual is the more elusive one. So you're going to pay anywhere between 150 to 200, maybe 250 for that one. But the first one is quite common. I've seen it several times, as I say, in various antique shops or antique bookshops, or, you know, antique book fairs. That one there that Paul's got. So
and they smell great.
Yeah.
Well.
I would also check, if I were you as well, with the team at the Who shop, in case they actually have another copy in there, because they do get sent. The Who shop do find them occasionally and put them into the Who shop, because they are quite what's the word I'm looking for? They're not as rare as the second one. You can see them. You know,
they're quite common.
Yes, thank you. I get quite frustrated when I see the first one and I don't see the Troughton one, and I need to, oh, not that one again. But it's there. So I hope that answered your question there, Simon.
I don't know whether or not. Obviously, at the beginning of the series, it was much more popular at the very beginning for merchandise, and with Troughton being less involved in that aspect of it. Maybe that's why they're a bit rarer, perhaps. I don't know.
I think it's just because they back in that year 64, they did a few more, didn't they? And they were quite a lot of television spin-offs at that point. They were all jumping on that.
The photographic one with Troughton's lovely, don't you think? The one in the TARDIS from Power, that's a beautiful cover as well.
Yes, it's lovely, yeah.
Do you think they missed the chance a little bit? I mean, I know at the same time, running alongside, there was the original Dalek annuals, and if only they'd struck a deal with Terry Nation and had the Doctor Who annuals, could have had the Dalek annuals as well, but the Doctor Who annuals with the Daleks in it as well. It would have been
never happened. Yeah. Never happened, did it? It was. Has it happened in the modern ones as well? I don't know if it has. To be quite honest.
Think so. No.
I know it's happened in the comic strips, and it did back in the 70s, did it? We started with the Dogs of Doom.
Yeah,
that's when the Daleks first appeared in them weekly, but never got into the. But that's because they did have the Dalek annuals, you say. And Terry Nation also had his Blake 7 annual. Do you remember?
Yeah. A
couple of them over there. Thank you to Digby Strawbridge for your super chat here. Stop printing Disney Who magazine. It is dreck. That's what Digby's saying to us. So, are we going to argue with that?
No.
Time will tell, Digby, won't it? Let's just say the Grapevine's very busy at the moment. That's going to be a headline show in itself in the next couple of years. Who knows? Possibly, but allegedly, we're hearing loads of stuff. Sean, thank you for that, Digby. We appreciate that. Sean is saying to us, I paid 40 quid about as many years ago for a Troughton annual. And then Steve Hindley's going like me, a bit naff. Cross. Absolutely. How dare they, eh? And Atherstone 55, nice to see you. Hope they haven't printed too many if there are for everybody who loved the last series. I bet they have.
I think two's enough. Print two, that's plenty.
Do you know, as I keep saying to people, though, I can't speak for last year because I wasn't bothered, or the year before, but I used to get the Smith and Capaldi annuals just because I was a completist until Capaldi left.
Yeah.
And that's how I know they were always a little bit naff. But I would get them from places like, I don't think the supermarkets take the Doctor Who annual anymore, but have a look out. But I would get them from places like the supermarkets, Home Bargains, or WH Smith for £1 after Boxing Day. That's after the 26th of December here in the UK, because they'd be £1. And I remember getting one Capaldi for 50p and then forgotten I'd already bought it for £1. So I've got two of them over there. Not worth having two of them. But anyway, yes.
But they are very much like pamphlets now, aren't they? They're very, very, very thin. Yeah.
It's the same format every year. You're always going to get that, oh, look, here's the 5,000 faces of the Doctor. And here's this, and this is what's happened in the series. And I'm not dissing the people that put these together. I'm not dissing that at all. But our annuals, my point is, our annuals were far more imaginative and didn't rely on actually having to necessarily tie in with the TV show, which you didn't mind on Christmas afternoon necessarily. You wanted new adventures. And this is what the annuals gave you for decades.
I quite like the Panini yearbooks they did in between the annuals. They did them for a couple of years, but I've not got them. Is there any idea how much they're going for? The yearbooks?
The Panini ones, they're not going for much. Right. I saw them. There was only 4, wasn't there?
I think so, yeah.
Because Panini did the first 2005 annual with Eccleston and Piper on the cover, and then BBC Books and Penguin took it over because obviously it was fairly successful, and they took it over from 2006 onwards. You remember they had that sort of hologram of Eccleston to Tennant, which doesn't really work.
The lenticular thing, yeah.
They've been doing it since then. But I have seen the storybooks, 2006, 7, 8, I think they were. I've seen them for around about 10 quid.
All right.
Again, at antique book fairs or antique bookshops. So, I have seen them in Paul. I have actually seen them as well in charity shops for about £5.
Wow. Must have a look out for them. Yeah,
have a look out for them, because they are quite good actually. Those storybooks from Panini, I'll give them that. So Lee Smith is saying my first ever annual in 1976 was the Dalek one. I've got that one too. Wasn't it fantastic?
Is that the one with the Day of the Daleks Dalek on the front and the death on the back, with the fiery Dalek on the back? That's a cracker, that one.
It's the one I think with the Dalek and the extermination ray and lots of montage around him.
Yeah,
I think that's the 76 one.
Yeah,
bluish frame. Very popular one in 76. Both the Doctor Who annual and the Dalek annual were up there, And don't forget, in 1983, we also got the K9 annual. Yes.
Yeah, we got
K9 and Company. Yeah,
we got the K9 annual, so that was great. The artwork in the annuals and on the covers were works of art, and the books didn't talk down to children, says Stephen Braddock. Again, true. Absolutely true. What else we got here? Neville is saying they really are trying desperately to build some hype around the modern series. Yes, they really are, aren't they? And we're going to be talking a bit more about that in a minute, Neville. And again, Richard is saying to us, I got my 1976 annual at a local charity shop just a few months ago. Yeah, because they are around. Honestly, they are around. Cute Pyro, nice to see you. Hard to call them annuals when they're thinner than toilet paper.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
And
as well.
used for pretty much the same thing, really.
Yeah.
Probably, yes. Yeah.
And Kev's worrying me now. He had the 77, 78, 79, and 80 annuals. What do you mean had? What happened there, Kev? And in the words of Toya, it's a myth away. So, what happened there, Kev? Let us know what happened to that.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got a message, Paul, from Michael, who wants you to know he's back, baby. Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much.
And Digby's pointing out that particular, can we say eBay? I'm sure we can. Is a very good source for classic Doctor Who annuals. It really, really is. And you're very welcome, Richard. That it was thanking me for the tips. You're really welcome. Yeah. And Raymond's joining us, saying hail. Hello, Raymond. Nice to see you. But that was from the brand new edition, everybody, of the of Doctor Who magazine, where this gentleman infuriated me. That's the first thing I saw when I opened the pages.
Yeah.
I would like to know how old the gentleman actually is. I'm going to be ageist here in reverse. 7,
10,
did you say? Yeah.
Might even be the work experience.
On mummy.
Hello, William. How are you? William Humes is joining us here. Nice to see you. Hope you are very, very well. And Nibbles is saying to you, that was a beautiful book, Paul. Thank you for showing it.
You're very welcome. Yeah. They are beautiful. If you've not got them, I think even online you can see it. I think actually, if you're very lucky, the PDFs on some of the collection sets have copies of the annuals, and the artwork throughout the classic stuff is really, really good. Recommend it.
Yeah. Peter Venkman is saying to us here, and back then stories used to drop tons of facts about different things in them. Today it's not so much. That's one of the things he was getting at in the article, saying that all these unrelated topics. But if it hadn't been for those unrelated topics, some of us may not have got through the projects at primary school.
Yeah.
You know, the space projects or the Egyptian projects or whatever they were going to be, because you would always go to your Doctor Who annual because that's in there, and you get the name Neil Armstrong or something on.
Yeah.
And that's what they used to do. The annuals, especially the Doctor Who ones, used to inform and educate, like the BBC used to do.
Yeah.
Didn't it? Sean is saying to us here, the TARDIS isn't accurate, but look at the likenesses to Hartnell.
Yeah, the TARDIS looks like a bit like a shed, but that's okay.
But
I never did understand the pointy roof.
Yeah.
But Ian, do you know what? They wouldn't have got all the wonderful reference material they get today.
No, they wouldn't have done.
They probably wouldn't watch a children's show on a Saturday night at 5 o'clock to do the research either, quite frankly. Do you know what I mean? Bless them.
I mean, you would imagine that a UK-based artist, and I don't know who did the artwork there, whether they were UK-based or not, but a UK-based artist should have known what a police box looked like because they were everywhere at the time, certainly through the 50s. But if it was somebody that was doing it that had maybe come from abroad and was doing it as a job, probably not, because they had started to be phased out, hadn't they? So, maybe not.
In terms of reference material, I know the Dalek ones they had, they got reference material from the Daleks. I know they have the tape on them and stuff. And one of the Daleks has like a speaker.
Yes.
And that's to do with the fact they're all taped up and stuff, wasn't it? That was the reason for that, wasn't it? And the numbers on the top,
Yeah. Sheila B with her devotions is joining us, saying, what have I missed? Well, we're currently on our first item this evening, Sheila B. We're talking about this article that has appeared in the Doctor Who magazine, which basically disses the classic and wonderful British annuals of the 60s and 70s. Very, very casually it dissed it, doesn't it? But it did diss it, and that's where we're up to now. So lovely to see you. Thank you for joining us. I would gladly watch any Doctor Who annual story over the last 5 years of Doctor Who, says Digby. Yeah, I totally agree with those. And they had charm, those early annuals. The Macronon, hello to you. How are you? Nice to see you. Tom Baker signed Mice 1978 annual, so I am never throwing that out. You can't. You just can't.
The only thing that really irritated me about the early annuals was the 1977 one, because they made it a different size.
Yes, that's really infuriating for someone who's OCD like myself. That's really infuriating. Yeah.
It really is. It's always got me since 1977, but that's what they did that year, because the Space 1999 annual was the same size. So all the annuals from World Distributors in 1977, they were based on that huge big block format. for whatever reason. But here we go. We really
Didn't
must
they
do a
make a
show about
mistake
the
with the
annuals.
printing machine and went to inches instead of centimeters or something?
Must have done. Must have done. We really must do a show about the annuals. We've been planning to do it for ages. We must get that sorted at some point, everybody. We're going to do that. You heard it here first on this channel. We're going to do a show about the annuals. The pink pertwee is the one I seek, the one that got away. It's so expensive, said Pete Harrington. Keep going, because you may find it eventually, like I did. You may find it eventually. The artwork on the early annuals is fantastic, said Raymond. And the Forbidden Man is with us. Hi, guys. I'm just back from seeing Alien, Romulus. It's okay, but nothing special. I'm going to be talking about that in just a second, very, very quickly, actually. So thank you, everybody. Oh, look, Daryl's here saying he did the Colin pastiche.
It's lovely, Daryl. It's really lovely.
Who else would it have been? Well done, Daryl. Another great piece of work from you. Nice to see you. Nice. Atherstone is also saying to us here, these modern fans don't realise that with modern TV in the 70s, once the episode aired, all we had was the annuals and Target books.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've got easy now, far too easy.
Yeah.
You're right, actually. Yeah. And the Target books, really, apart from the first three, which were 60s, the Target books, really, you were looking at 1973, 4 onwards, weren't you?
Yeah.
So for most of Pertwee's era, there wasn't even those.
Yeah. The chat is going so fast, and I've lost you all. I've lost you all. That's that. So thank you so much. Keep it all coming, but I am behind with you all now. Aaron is saying to us here, I relied on the annuals. We didn't have the ability to watch anything on demand and did pledging on a PBS station in Buffalo to show the classic series. And thank you, Cute Pyro, for your super chat there. Traditional Doctor Who was beautifully written, and all they are doing now is insulting everyone. I wish they would just stop making Who, as it needs a break. Well, no argument for me on that one.
Can I just say, I think the annuals are iconic Doctor Who merchandise, and they should be cherished, I have to say.
Yes, they should be. And this is what these kids don't seem to understand, or these young people don't understand. Thank you as well, Cuparo, for your super sticker there, which is critical hit. These things always make me laugh. Thank you. Thank you for that. And thank you to everybody at wherever they come from. I suppose it's the Tube of Who, isn't it? Thank you for that, because they do make me laugh. Really make me laugh. Oh, and Kev's getting back to me. I gave them to my cousin as his elder brother. My older cousin was very generous to me as a kid. They are still looked after and have been read by his kids. Oh,
fair enough.
That's quite nice, then, isn't it? Yeah, that is really, really nice. So well done you for that. That's lovely. Yeah, so thank you everybody for that. I'm glad you enjoyed that particular one. I say enjoyed, but you can see why it really sort of frustrated me, because it was another sort of attack from alleged new fans. And this is the division that's come in with fandom, isn't it? It's them and us. It's the older fans. They should be respecting all the stuff from 60 and treasuring that stuff that laid the foundations for all the crap they're getting, because it's just a copy.
There's bound to be some. There's bound to be some. I bet like Roald Dahl and rewriting books and stuff. I bet there's something in it that thinks a bit offensive or something. No doubt.
Yeah, well, probably. Well, yeah, but that wasn't the only thing that frustrated me in this new edition of Doctor Who magazine, though, because there was their ratings update. Again, happy birthday to Bedouia, and I hope this doesn't blow your mind on this particular one, but here they go with this. Following last issue's roundup of the UK viewing figures for Shooting Atlas first season, we can now report the 28-day ratings for the last 3 episodes. The chart below shows the official figures reported by the BARB, the Broadcasters Audience Research Bureau for Rogue, The Ruby Sunday, and The Empire of Death. It includes the 28-day numbers for both BBC One and BBC Three and the overall reach. That is the big reach itself, isn't it? Let's throw the reach in there. That is a reach. Oh, rubbish. We've talked about this before. And once all ratings have been combined, all 3 episodes achieved high places in the weekly chart, with multiple episodes of soaps, Euro 2024 football, election coverage, and the release of Netflix's Bridgerton, its main competition. So yeah, we've been through these ratings before. We've got all this here. What you can see there is the 28-day rating. Well, the 7-day total rating for The Legend of Ruby Sunday, it came in at 19th in the chart at 3.50 million. The Empire of Death came in at 3.69 million, so it was 18th. Then, of course, they go to the 28-day rating, and we've discussed this, haven't we, Who Viewers? This is their way of trying to desperately show it's possible. But look at this. The Legend of Ruby Sunday, after 28 days, only jumps to 3.83 million from 3.50 million. And then the finale, Empire of Death, jumped from 3.69 over 7 days to 3.92. It's not a massive jump. On BBC Three, Legend of Ruby Sunday gets 0.40 million and then drops for Empire of Death to 0.34 million. And the reach, and this really is a reach of 28 day, and how they're putting this together, I think we really need to start axing it, because it says here the reach figure is approximate, as full data for the BBC Two Sign Zone repeats are not available. So it's why are they printing something that's not accurate? What, they can't put together properly.
I was
But
going to ask
anyway,
you that. Is that that's not the final figure then? 4.3, 4.4, 4.4. That's not the final figure at all then.
Well, yeah. I mean, it is.
When does it stop? When
It's
does it
fantasy.
stop?
Yeah, when does it start? We've talked about this before. It's not going to, is it? They're going to come back saying, "Oh, the year figures eventually, aren't they? The 12-month average was blah 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 blah." It's utter nonsense, and there it is in the official Doctor Who magazine. And we've discussed this thanks to Bedouin's fantastic data and his reports.
It's still very, very low, isn't it? For figures, for a reboot of a new series coming back to grab the
what
audience.
Raymond's saying.
Yeah.
The 28-day numbers are still bad. I mean, we've discussed. I mean, listen, Who viewers, I'm going to apologise. We can't keep going on about the ratings every week, can we? Really? Well, we could because we're Doctor Who fans, and we can't keep banging on about RTD because when you do that, content becomes stale, and we all get a bit bored, and we start repeating ourselves. But you've got to address things like this when it's coming out in the because this is where these fans that start criticising us and getting at us on social media get this propaganda idea into the head. Oh, the show's still popular. It bloody well, isn't it? I mean, they're saying it there, aren't they? 3 million? Come on.
If it was popular, watch it on the night. Let's be honest. That's it. Simple as that.
It was canned in 1989 for getting twice those ratings.
Yeah, exactly. Forbidden Man is saying the reach, it's pathetic film. The reach, though, where exactly does it mean the reach? You know, I can't. Why? It's that they keep adding. I wonder what they're going to add from Christmas onwards into the next series. What are they going to add into that little box when the Voom figures go down again? Because I'm sure they will go past the 1.9 and I will actually win the ratings game on our reviews.
Because what will they do that? Church on Ruby Road must be up to 15 million by now, is it not? Surely, but
yeah. I mean, it's just nonsense.
Shooty will start his own OnlyFans channel and they'll add the ratings from that. So that will go up by another 6.
Yeah. 28-day ratings. The cope is immeasurable, says Legion of James. And reach, says Richard Brooks. What does that even mean exactly? They can calculate whatever gibberish they wish to. We all know that Dr. Wu is an absolute flop. And Garbage is pointing out, just look at the columns trying to justify this. Mike Disney with his stats show, final show, is not worth a watch. We had this as we were going through the reviews as well, didn't we, really? And we as we say, we were talking with Bedouin's reports on this very show on headlines here on the channel. They were going down, just like they did in the Chibnall era, as people were hearing or watching and thinking, this isn't for me. Oh, what's on the other side? Oh, it's Ant and Dec or wherever it was, you know? It's not grabbed the attention. We've said it before. It's not grabbed the attention of people, has it? And I don't think it's going to either.
Bedouin's reports cut through all that crap, all that glossed up guff, and just say it as it is, in as accurate as it's ever going to get. So what DWM are doing here is just pathetic. It's just like they're paid shills, aren't they? Really. They
want to keep their license, don't they, Ian? This is the official Doctor Who, but they've been doing it for nigh on 10 years, maybe just over 10 years. Since the Moffat era, they've been kissing the bums of whatever production team happens to be in by saying the right things. Everybody's saying the right things these days. Truth and honesty has gone out the window because everybody's terrified of offending somebody else or losing that bit of business. We've got to tell the truth. The show is in trouble, and as fans, we should be pointing out the show is in trouble. You're producing it incorrectly. You're not tailoring it for an audience that wants it. The British public are far more worried now about other things, and you're expecting people to listen to more twaddle that's coming through. Oh, give over.
And that's going to be reflected on the fact, sadly, DWM is cancelled, isn't it? Sadly.
Well, as I said, as a sort of hinted to, there are rumours around the fan circuit at the moment. Let's see where that goes over the next few years, because that's going to be a headlines in itself, isn't it, when we hear something about that? Part of me is hoping the show recuperates, the magazine recuperates. I mean, I bought it for 40 years. You know, it's such a shame. Peter Venkman fans say, oh, usually you get the most views on a premiere, but they went out for reruns on the end of the month. Absolutely. And Julianne is saying to us, 28-day ratings for the first time ever. That's the deafening sound of a barrel being scraped, isn't it just, my lovely?
I can
Isn't
hear it. Yes.
Just? Yeah, you can. Rick Storm, nice to see you. The 365-day viewing figures are amazingly rubbish. Yeah, they will be, actually. I still say things like the Green Death, the Ark in Space, the Robots of Death, Inferno. They'll be all the way up there by now, won't they? With the iPlayer repeats. They'll all be through the roof.
Yep.
I guarantee you. I'll wait for the 60-year rating, says the Legion of James.
Gatwas won't change much. It'll, you know, you could be doing the consolidated ratings in 2084, and Church on Ruby Road will be like 4.5
Well,
million.
just look at classic repeats. If we look at the Green Death, that was repeated like 3 times. Plants, Spiders, Sea Devils. What are they getting? 30 million must have done. Yeah, add it all together. Yeah.
My pinky toe gets more views than that, says Cute Pyro for the super chat.
Too much information there, I feel.
I think there is.
I still watch it though over that.
There's probably a particular website for that one, Cute Pyro? It's a bit worried. But thank you very much for that comment in your super chat there. 60-year rating, says Russ, laughing at that one. And Raymond is saying it shows how few people rewatch the new episodes, The Empire of Dread Orphanus, watched by less than 300,000 3 weeks later. They're just not interested. I've been saying it and banging on about it, and I'm going to continue to do so. The British public have gone. They are now writing and producing this very expensive show for a minority. A very small minority, because we're here ripping it to shreds because it was dire. It was awful. It really, really wasn't Doctor Who at all. And what they're doing was, I don't know, who's the audience they want? The mythical new audience. They're certainly not millions and millions of them in that camp, as they should be seeing. But no, they're doubling down, tripling down.
And there's more of the same to come. Yeah.
There really is, Paul. And thank you all for your comments on that again, because we are going to get onto what actually Paul's just said there. There is more to come, because again, the next thing from Doctor Who magazine that came out this week was an interview with this lady. Now, this, as you all know, is Julie Gardner. She's Bad Wolf. Well, one of the people with Jane Tranter that created Bad Wolf, of course. She's also executive producer on many of the Bad Wolf outputs. She's based over in America now as well, as you can tell by the fabulous glam look she now sports.
Great glasses, I have to say. Yeah.
Very showbiz over there now, aren't they?
Yeah.
And the problem with that is, I would say as well, is because they've now been enveloped in that whole showbiz extreme far left ideology. I mean, they're probably never going to be the same again. They've lost touch with the British existence, as many people are doing these days. But this is Julie Gardner. And in this particular edition of Doctor Who magazine, they did Julie's diary. So this basically catalogued Julie Gardner writing down her diary for Doctor Who magazine around the SDCC, the San Diego Comic Con. Okay. And meeting up with Russell over there, getting to the Comic Con, getting their lanyards, checking in, meeting with Shooty and Millie, meeting with other people, blah, 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 blah. Getting on the panels, all that sort of stuff for viewers. Yep, you with me so far? Good. There was a particular part, though, that got me thinking, and this is one of the things we want to talk about now, because you were mentioning it in the chat. Paul mentioned it as well. They're continuing. Bad Wolf are continuing, so it seems, and the hint is there. We've had it from Jane Tranter. We've certainly had it from RTD. Now we've got it from Julie. And I put it to you in the chat once more. You know how I've been saying over the last couple of months, Bad Wolf, BBC Studios don't necessarily need Disney Plus. If Disney Plus pulled out, they wouldn't need them. I'm actually getting the feeling that A, Disney Plus may not pull out, and secondly, I might be right that they're going to carry on, because look at this particular part from Julie's diary. 7:30 p.m. Russell and I have dinner with the BBC. Nick Lambert commissioning, hard to talk, editor, and Leslie Bailey. But hush, spoilers. You can just see the little picture of the four of them at dinner there on the left-hand side. So I'm putting to you guys as well, this could be about the forthcoming World Between the Land and the Sea thing. But with all they've been saying, why do I get the feeling that not only is a Series 4 for Doctor Who on the cards, but more spin-offs?
Well, I would imagine if they're going to go if Disney continue with them, they'll do another 2 seasons anyway if they go with that. And I agree. I think the Hooniverse thing has spoke volumes in terms of more spin-offs. And Disney does this all the time with all the Star Wars and Marvel nonsense.
It's true. I mean, if the Land and the Sea thing flops, they may just lose it completely. Because I don't think Disney has much faith in it, to be quite honest. It's not been a ratings hit for them, has it? And I think the Land and the Sea thing might be their potential last throw of the dice. So they're going to be desperate for it to succeed. But if it doesn't, then I mean, in what American market is the Sea Devils going to be an attraction? You know, it's very much in
or any
television
market,
lore.
not just America, but any market.
Yeah, but I mean, the concept of the Sea Devils and the history of the Sea Devils is very much tied to British 70s television, isn't it? But not the American market. If that flops, then I can't see them committing to too much more, because it's just a waste of money, isn't it? Not that they don't waste money anyway.
Can I just say a huge thank you to Janus for your super chat there. Thank you so much. JT, your missing annual is on eBay currently. Please don't tell me that. I can't afford it. I might have to go and have a look. But thank you for that, Hugh. Oh, no. Oh, no. Thank you for that. That's a bit worrying, isn't it? Oh, but thank you for your super chat, Hugh. Really appreciate it. Oh, God. Oh,
What I was going to say was, if we are told this is not for us, which is bizarre anyway, why are they doing a spin-off about an alien race or a race belonging to Earth before us, before humans? If it's not for the fans, who's this for? Who's going to watch the Sea Devils? If you're trying to bring us back, we'd watch it because we're fans. But who else is going to watch it if we're not allowed to come and see it? You know, it's bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing here, isn't it? But it's just the case that, again, they seem to be a little bit out of date. Cute Prio, thank you again for your super chat. Have you seen the absolute, I don't know if I can say that, CGI Disney is using in Snow, Not White? Why not just hire people who are dwarfs? Totally different chat. Where have you got that one from, Lovey? But there you go. But thank you for that one. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, it ties in with the DEI stuff, which we know has come into Doctor Who. I guess that's fine. But with this whole thing about Bad Wolf coming in, why that particular piece from the magazine has got me there, panel and Who viewers, is simply because why am I getting this feeling that they are going to say, we don't care. You know, we are going to continue with this. We are going to flog the dead horse. Now, Legion, it wasn't Legion. Who was it? It was a Forbidden Man who's just said to me a couple of minutes ago, he went to see Alien at the pictures. Now, I went to see Alien Romulus last night at the movies. Now, I know it's divided opinion. However, I have to tell you, I really enjoyed it. I was there in my favorite cinema. I was there with great company. Hello to Lee and Andrea if they're watching. And I enjoyed this. This was a proper Alien film for me. There was no messaging that I could see in it. And this is the second now that I've seen back to back, what with Deadpool and Wolverine, which is not messaging in any way. And look at the success of Deadpool. I guarantee you that Romulus is going to do very well as well. Could Hollywood now be adapting and suddenly realizing we have to entertain again? And if that's the case, Doctor Who with season 2 in the can, season 3 being planned, some spin-offs being planned, these people are going to be out of touch again by 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Someone had a theory on why they got Robert Downey Jr. back to play Doctor Doom in the Marvel stuff. And it's like almost the same thing. It's like they're thinking, let's get characters or actors back that people like. Let's try, you know, a bit like David Tennant. Oh, but that failed, obviously. But Robert Downey Jr. is a very popular figure. As I remember bringing him back as Doctor Doom as a way to inject more interest back in the franchise, I think.
Yeah. Well, he's come to save it. I mean, that's the way I look at it. He's come to save it, because I'm not interested in all these other people I've never heard. I mean, they seem to forget as well, in Britain, unless you were a diehard American comic book fan, a lot of us won't know these people. We know the big guns. We know Wonder Woman. We know Superman. We know Batman. We know Spider-Man. We know Captain America. We know the Incredible Hulk. We know Thor, because we had a handful of these things. They wouldn't. they were not big here in America. Those comic books in UK rather, were they? Those American comic books, because we had our own. We had our own.
Yeah.
We were more interested in the Beano and the Dandy and the Beezer and the Bunty, for heaven's
And
sake.
Lookin' magazine as well.
Looking, yeah, with all the pop stuff in it, and then Doctor Who Weekly came along, and the American ones, I seem to remember, were always shoved towards the end of the shelf. You know, the American one. And if you wanted a Spider-Man one or an Incredible Hulk, you had Marvel UK. So why do movies of all these things? Because, you know, they're not outside the UK, outside the USA. Who's going to know much about them apart from diehards? So I think you're right with that one. But I also think this is having a knock-on effect here, because it's just that with what Jane Tranter has said, what Russell has said, and what Julie Gardner has said in her diary there, that we're meeting up with these people who are commissioning editors. So what have they commissioned? Are they just catching up? But they must have been there for some sort of meeting as well between Russell and Julie and themselves, because they've flown all the way over from London to there. They're not just going to go and talk about something that they've already commissioned, are they?
Like I said
The
before,
whole thing, Who viewers, is just be ready for the fact, or just get ready for the possibility that it might not go where everybody thinks it's going. They could come back to us next year saying, right, you're getting this now, and it's going to be about the K1 robot or something, you know. Thank you to Legion of James. There's nothing maybe about it. You are right. They are going to flog the dying horse of this franchise to dust, Paul.
Oh, that's what I was going to say, was like you kind of said already, GT, about the if Disney doesn't continue with it, Bad Wolf probably got a clause saying we'll continue with Doctor Who on our own and forget Disney, and we'll still keep pummeling it into the ground.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. No, exactly. But it looks. My point being here, everybody, they're not going to listen. They're not going to listen to the criticism. No. Remember last week or whenever it was here on this show, we were talking about how RTD allegedly doesn't do social media. We know he does Instagram. So he's got people around him who tell him what the feedback is. They're not going to tell him. There are shows all over YouTube saying how bad this thing is. There are people not buying the merchandise. You know, you're getting slagged off left, right, and center. You're not the most wanted, the most nicest person in Doctor Who now. You're the most wanted. They're not going to listen. So my point about this whole thing about what's coming out is I have this feeling now. It's staying around. They're going for the third series. They're going for another spin-off. No matter if the ratings are right down there with the Daily Mirror. You know what I mean?
It's that policy, isn't it, of if it's crap and if nobody's watching it, flood the market anyway. And hope you stumble across something that people accidentally like. But they are absolutely consumed with arrogance. That in their minds, there is nothing they do that isn't popular. So anybody that doesn't like it is automatically wrong. And that's the way they exist. But that's fine. That's fine. You know, let them. They're just damaging their own company by investing money in something that nobody's interested in.
Well, that's kind of like Disney Plus's mantra a little bit, allegedly, because they keep making lots of Star Wars things or Marvel things, and they keep throwing it at us, and hopefully something will stick, like you say, Ian, that people might like. And most of it is appalling.
Yeah.
It's quantity over quality, and that's what we're going to get with Disney Doctor Who, probably. So
I think you're right with that. I think this is possibly now going down, as we all know, RTD wants it down the Star Trek and Star Wars route, and I think it's going to damage Doctor Who. I think too many spin-offs will damage it, and they're all after is this elusive money and this American success. That's what they want, because if the shows are successful in America, they will be successful and start earning big money off the back of our beloved show. Part of me doesn't like that because it's a BBC show, and it was never, ever, ever there to earn money for the BBC. It was there to be broadcast on the telly and entertain. And this is what I'm thinking they have forgotten. They've forgotten this because they're too busy just listening to Russell and either not understanding his nonsense or supporting his nonsense, like we know these ladies do. And really, you should be looking at that, girls, because what he supports affects your rights as women. Yeah. Anyway, and it goes on and on and on with here, doesn't it? And it's just going to continue. Terrified Monk is saying, I have accepted I'm not the target audience for Zuma Who. And that's awful, Terrified Monk, because Doctor Who should be for everybody. Absolutely everybody, no matter what their opinion, no matter what side of the political spectrum. It should just be a science fiction family drama open to all. And it's not. And they've made it now for pure far left ideological believers, really. Matthew was saying to me here, yep, it was great, JT. The Alien franchise is back. And Garbage saying, don't forget Twisters. That's the other one I saw. No real politics in that. It was just entertainment. Yes, it was just basically the first one. So, in different sequences. I didn't mind because it entertained me. And that's what we want.
That's what it should be. Any form of art should be entertaining. If you're making a film or a TV show, it should be entertaining first and foremost, and not tagged on with a message at the end of it.
Exactly. I heard, said Nibbles, that Alien had loads of key jangling and callbacks. Is that right, JT? Yes, it was. If you know the franchise, there are 9 films in the Alien franchise, and it looks like they're going to get a 10th because this one is going to be successful for them.
Well, that'll be Alien Weemus then instead, will it?
I don't know. I got one more left than Weemus. I've no idea. But if you know the films, there are some nice little kisses to the wind. We call it, didn't we?
Yeah, kisses to the past, as I think was Philip Siegel's mantra.
Yeah. But however, one of my friends didn't know anything about the previous films and got it. You don't need to know them, and that's the point, isn't it? Not like bringing Sutek back from 1974 and expecting your audience to know it.
Whilst at the same time saying there's no reference to the original.
Yeah. John is saying to us here, new Alien is just a rehash of previous scenes. Yeah, I actually get that. I do get that. So was Twisters. But I think that's why it works. Because basically it's an entertainment. And if they can build on that and carry on because they've now found out what works for them, I'm happy for them to relaunch it that way rather than just rewriting it with message after message after message after message. Does that make sense?
Yeah. You want Doctor Who back? That'd be nice.
That's what we do. We want Doctor Who. But this is what worries me about what they're saying here, and what they're hinting at here, and what I just wanted to put to all the Who viewers. And thank you again for all your chats. You are really going for it as usual tonight. So thank you. I've completely lost you. So we'll get to you in a second. So thank you very much for it all. But it's a real case of I just think we should all be a bit prepared for the announcement that, hey, it's been so successful. We're coming back with 3rd series and 2 more spin-offs about the Gear 1 robot and the Cybermax.
They better not be announcing that in Yorkshire, I tell you.
Lee Smith asks, what about a Doctor Who spin-off film? It wouldn't work, Lee.
No, it's too late.
The time has come and gone. If they were going to do it, they should have done a film before Tennant left, or even with Matt Smith in his first 2 years. If they're going to do a film, no one's going to go and see it now. And actually, that brings me to the point that the Alien film I saw last night, of course, Romulus, Lee, was supposed to be for Hulu, the streaming channel. But some wise decision was like, no, let's put this on the cinema. And good for them, because they've made the right decision. I know there's a series coming up, isn't it, called Alien Earth? That's going to be on television, I believe. But, I think the time has been and gone for a Doctor Who film. No one would go and see it. Would you two go and see it?
Not a chance.
Not really.
It'll be virtue signaling, messaging crap. They would not be able to disentangle it at all. It'd have to be a production company that was completely divorced from anything Bad Wolf or BBC or Disney related, and they'd never let it go to do that. So
well, BBC Studios
would be better.
BBC Studios could have. See, this is where they frustrate me. Everything's set up, and they never use their common sense. BBC Studios could have partnered with BBC Films and produced it.
Yeah.
They could have produced it, and they could have recast the Doctor, or they could have put Capaldi in there, or Smith in there, or even, God forbid, Tennant. Because Eccleston wouldn't have done it, but they could have done it with a modern Doctor, and people would have gone to see it, I'm sure. But as time moved on, can you imagine now a multi-million-dollar movie with Ncuti Gatwa in the lead?
I'm still waiting for a film version of The Chase, if you ask me. So anyway.
Yeah. Can you imagine a multi-million-dollar movie at the cinemas written by Russell T Davies?
No,
not at all. Can't see it happening, but it's something I certainly wouldn't support at all. But thank you for that one as well. But that was just interesting, I thought. Another bit from Doctor Who magazine this week in Julie's diary. Russell and I have dinner with the BBC, Nick Lambon, why can't I say that word? Commissioning editor, and Leslie Bailey. But hush, spoilers. And again, I think it's there. It's just the warning. We're not listening to you all. everything's fine, it's huge and it's popular, and we've got this spin-off coming, and we're going to do this one as well, and we're going to do a third and fourth year, and it's all fabulous. That's what I think they're getting at.
Who's was it Leslie Bailey? Who's that? Any idea?
Another commissioning editor team.
Oh, they're both commissioning editors. I see. Okay.
I would imagine so. I imagine they're from both the same team.
Right.
So I don't know, but again, what do we think of this? What do we think of this? I personally have got the impression they're not taking Doctor Who seriously anymore. I don't know about you guys. I just think they're looking at it as a money-making machine, and they're going to press on until they kill the thing with various, as you said, Paul, they're going to produce this and they're going to produce this and see what sticks.
Yeah. Until they get lucky, if they do. Yeah.
If they
do.
do.
We'll get lucky, I don't think we'll get lucky. I don't think they've had respect for the source material or for the legacy for a long time. And you shouldn't be bound by the legacy. You should always, the stuff in the 70s with Hinchcliffe really didn't give anything to the history of Doctor Who. It was just ploughing on, making new stuff, which became in itself classic history. But this lot, they've got no respect for anything. I mean, like Russell T Davies saying that we touched on last week, how he wants to take that silly twist bint and put her in every story in the history of Doctor Who, going right back to Verity Lambert's work. I mean, what does he think gives that arrogant prat the right to do that? Yeah. There's a line in the first Picard where he goes to see a woman at Starfleet, and she's got very condescending view of him, and she just says sheer effing hubris. Only she doesn't say effing. And I could just imagine somebody sitting opposite Russell T Davies and saying that, because it's exactly that. Can't stand the guy.
Liam said, I meant a spin-off, not actually the new Doctor. I just don't think the spin-offs are wanted anyway. I've always said, Lee, this. Why produce spin-offs when you can't get the main show right? And the main show is in trouble. I keep saying the British public have gone. The majority of us as fans have gone. So why produce a spin-off that nobody has asked for when you can't get the main show right?
And what sort of spin-offs are we going to get? Because I've heard recently that perhaps Kate Stewart is going to be leading the Sea Devils one, and she's a lesbian now, apparently. So what's going on there?
Yeah, that's the rumor that's hit over the weekend. It's just been mentioned in the chat as well, so thank you for that. However, that's just a rumor, and I think it's one of those desperate attempts, in my opinion, from the TQI squad to try and make it about, because look what's just been happened to her. Her boyfriend has just been introduced in the end of Doctor Who. She started a relationship with that fella, the guard, whatever his name is.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I thought she was with him. But
they won't like that because it's heterosexuality.
Exactly. But it's like they've already done the lesbian shtick with Bill, and then with Vastra and Jenny.
They can never do it enough, can they? They can never do it enough.
Yeah. Legion of James is saying to us now, they are now too preoccupied with undoing the classic series and repurposing it all with the message narrative. That's the frightening thing. And it's happening in real life as well, with real events in history being rewritten to suit the minority of these cultists and their opinions. It winds me up. And also, Neville is saying, I don't think it matters that we or anyone else says. They are going to make the damn thing anyway. That's my point, Neville. And I agree with you. I don't think they care. They don't care. They are totally oblivious to what's going on. And that's it. Eastlyn, hi Eastlyn, what you're saying to us, it is a platform for them. It's generic sci-fi, not sci-fi anymore, but fantasy, as very broadly defined by RTD. Yep. SP, Star Trek, Star Wars, and Doctor Who should be very different in tone. At the end of that thing, again, it comes along. The diaries from Julie Gardner in that Doctor Who magazine. She does say at the very end that she talks about the panel with Russell that she's been there, where we've covered it on the show, haven't we? Where he's with the Star Trek fella, Kurtzman,
yeah.
And she at the very end says, "Oh yeah," and then there's a discussion about the Star Trek and Doctor Who crossover. It's got to happen. Whatever Russell says, they will repeat diligently. Oh, it's got to happen. No, it doesn't have to happen, and it'll be a massive flop if it does. Two entirely different shows, no matter what fanboy RTD says. Two different tones, two different shows, two different sets of stories. You cannot bring them together. I've been thinking about this a lot recently. Star Trek is over there and Doctor Who is way over there. They're completely different shows. I don't believe a crossover will work. Don't know about you guys.
I don't want it to happen, let alone work. You know, it's an awful idea. Awful idea.
It is. It's horrendous. It's horrendous. It's nightmare stuff. Really is.
And the
again,
series can't be. The series is cheesy enough at the moment without doing that, isn't it? To be honest.
well, talking about cheesy, something else that's come out of the news this week was this. Now, this is something else that actually really made me go, "Oh my goodness!" But it ties in with my asking you in the chat and asking the Whotastic panel here about the state of Doctor Who today, and are they taking it seriously? They're not listening. They're not listening. And one thing they didn't listen to, obviously, is the fact that a certain drag queen who appeared in Doctor Who this year wasn't universally accepted. A minority may have wet their pants about this person coming into this fella coming in drag into the show, but the majority didn't like it, and the viewing figure went down. We know that. We've discussed it. We put it together. But guess what happened? Again, reported from the SDCC, and this one comes from Collider. Now, Collider, if you don't know Collider, anyway, that's all. Please, you'll see what I mean through this. The Doctor Who cast reveals which drag queens they want to join the sci-fi series. Oh my God. What they're suggesting here, guys, is basically that this could be a regular thing. And guess who's egging them on? Let's look together. The first season of Doctor Who saw the introduction of the concept of the Pantheons. One of the initial tastes of this world was Maestro, played by drag queen Jinx Monsoon in the episode The Devil's Board. After the reception of Monsoon's character, we asked showrunner Russell T Davies, as well as stars Ncuti Gatwa and Millie Gibson, if they could pick another drag queen to star on the show. Who would it be? I know you're all wetting yourselves in anticipation over the answers. The trio gave Collider's Sam Coley a few different answers during their time at the Collider Media Studio at San Diego Comic-Con. Right off the bat, Gibson offered Trixie Mattel as an option, saying she would be hilarious. It's a he, dear. Gatwa said bag of chips, a suggestion that Gibson echoed. And Teo Coffey was another name thrown around, this time by Davies. Gibson playfully reminded the group that she was at the London premiere. He, dear. Lawrence Chaney and Bimini Bon Boulash were the final two suggestions. Davies says, the more the merrier. We'll have to have them all, Gibson agrees, saying, let's just have an episode. Why
We're
are
all
the
having an episode, I think.
Yeah, Terror of the Drag Queens it'll be called, yeah. So.
Mental episode.
And no one will watch it in the UK. It'll be that minority who watches that old crone's Drag Race. Why are the Pantheons popping up in Doctor Who? It's a blooming good question. I've been asking them myself since that awful episode, The Devil's Board, on the first night it was broadcast. As the Mumbanary god Maestro, the audience learns that Maestro is also the Toymaker's child. If that name seems familiar, fans just saw the Toymaker in the Doctor Who 60th anniversary special, The Giggle. The Toymaker is a villain from the classic Who era, played originally by Michael Goth, God bless him, and then by Neil Patrick Harris. Maestro seeks to steal a musical essence in order to accomplish his plans. While defeated, it's unclear if we'll see Maestro again, since he's not dead. Is anyone really on Doctor Who? Well, the audience, definitely. It carries on. The door for Pantheons potentially blown wide open thanks to a line of salt poured out in the 60th anniversary special Wild Blue Yonder. Who remembers that? Because I don't. Opening the metaphorical doors to any and all mythical creatures to spill into the Doctor's world beyond the average monster of the weak alien that fans are used to seeing on the long-running science fiction franchise. Whether or not Maestro will return, Jinx Monsoon's performance was such a delight. Fans are rooting for more. And maybe Davies, Gatwa, and Gibson's suggestions for other drag queens could provide inspiration for just the right plot for Maestro's return.
No, please, no.
How many of you lot in the chat, how many of you lot watching this particular edition of Headlines are gagging for the return of that drag queen? Gagging. How many of you are? Let me know in the chat now.
I have to say that the worst episode ever of Doctor Who's Maestro, and I've just been watching Warriors of the Deep recently. So, I mean, honestly, it's like terrible.
Excuse me, Warriors of the Deep is absolute gem.
Compared to that, certainly is.
Shakespearean, isn't it?
Yeah. How dare you slag off that? What we got here, thank you, Cute Pro, again for your super chat. I forgot to mention Who's Views. While I was out in town, a TQ tried to have me arrested because I refused to allow her, them, whatever, to touch me. Thankfully, when the police arrived, they charged the TQ for wasting 999's time. Oh my God, really? This is where we're at. Why did they want to touch you anyway, these weirdos? Why did? Oh my God! You see?
Well, I mean, if somebody touches you without your permission, that is technically assault.
Well, it really is actually. But thank you for that, cute pyro. And that's awful. Message me, mail me with more info on that. Thank you for your super chat, talents of Wayne Chiang. Hi, JT. Any news on Who's Views teachers? And
We've been asking that for ages.
Yeah, you never listen to us.
There will be soon. I'm working on it when I'm not working, if that makes sense.
When he's got through his emails.
Oh, but thank you for that. I did actually, guys. I did have a lot of people emailing saying, "Yeah, we are interested." So there is stuff coming. Our competitors now will be looking at this, going, "What's he doing now? What's he doing now?" I know they are, but hello to you. Yeah, there's stuff coming.
Because I'm up for having a Who's Views uniform to wear on camera. That'd be great. I look forward to that.
Yeah. If only Danny LaRue was still around, says the Sydney Rough Diamond. Oh my goodness, he would be so angry. He would be so angry, I can assure you, having met him and being told off by him. He wouldn't be impressed with this at all, and he would not be for it at all, I can tell you. He would look at these very confused, some of them, American lads walking around thinking they're actually women and thinking that's what drag is, and he would be as thick as any of the rest of us of a certain age, I can assure you. But
at least he can act. So.
I am intrigued as to why Danny LaRue told you off, JT. I've got to be honest.
Have I not told you?
No.
Oh, right. Well, I'll tell you. And forgive me if you've heard the story before, but I was very lucky to meet Mr. LaRue at a backstage show business party years ago. It must have been late 80s, early 90s. Can't remember. It's all a bit of a blur. With a friend of mine who introduced me. And I remember at the time saying something about, I think I called him a drag queen. I think I said, "You're one of my favorite drag queens." And he looked down at me. I can see it now. And he went, "I am not a drag queen. I am a female impersonator." And then he hit me over the head. And he told me off. And he said, "There is a difference, my boy, between what I do and what they do." And then he pinched my nose and gave me a wink. One of the most magical moments of my life.
I can imagine.
Because I was put very much in my place. And that's where I started my journey on never assuming and learning the terminology, because he wasn't a drag queen. He was a female impersonator, and I called him a drag queen and lived to regret it very, very quick in a room full of lots and lots of show businessy type people. But yeah, that was my one and only encounter with Mr. LaRue, and what a love he was. He was absolutely fantastic.
The lovely story.
Yeah. Oh gosh, brings back memories. Stephen is saying to us here, more drag queens, and I thought it couldn't get worse. But Russell will be pushing this thing because he thinks that's what his market wants. And if questions like this from Collider are being asked, to hell with the majority of us and all of Doctor Who fandom and the public around the world who don't want to see this. I mean, why was that drag queen in Doctor Who? The episode was a flop. It didn't work, and it had more ham in it than My Local Butchers. Do you know what I mean? And this was a typical drag queen performance from around about 1999 in my eyes. I mean, I've got a personal opinion about why this guy's getting so much work. It's because they all think, rightly in a sense, bums on seats. Ticket money, box office money. You know.
But they kind of thought about that with Shooty as well, didn't they? Because he's got lots of followers on Tinternet, you know, and it's kind of like, it's just madness, isn't it? Because they didn't come and join the viewers, did they?
No, they didn't.
Yeah. And yet they must have thought they did. Do you know what I mean? They must have thought,
the ratings suggest they didn't.
Yeah. But Ian, you know, look at how many people were watching Sex Education on Netflix, which he was in. They haven't come over. They haven't come to watch Doctor Who.
No.
You know, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? I mean,
but then again, you know, I would argue in 1970 or 69, when you announce that John Pertwee is going to be the next Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And you've announced it when the series is really at quite a low, and he's only been announced because they haven't got a replacement to take the series off with. So they've given it one more season just as a filler.
Yes.
And they announced John Pertwee, who's primarily a radio comedy actor. And I would argue that there probably wouldn't have been that many from the Navy Lark listeners, or that like listening to Puffney Post Office or things like that, that came across to watch Doctor Who just because they enjoy listening to the adventures of CPO Pertwee on board HMS Troutbridge. You know, I don't think that many would have done that. Just in the same way that I don't imagine people watching William Hartnell's Doctor Who because they liked William Russell in what was it? Was it William Tell, or was it? Help me out. He did one thing where he was a real swashbuckler.
I forgot. Sir Lancelot, wasn't it?
Sir Lancelot.
Sorry, yeah. Would there have been a lot of Sir Lancelot fans that turned in to watch Doctor Who just because of that? Probably not. You know, it was standing on its own merits. So I don't think anybody with any common sense, which immediately rules out most of Cardiff, not the city, obviously, the producers in Cardiff, it rules them out completely because you're talking common sense. Nobody really should have thought that, oh, people liked him in Sex Education, so they're going to come across and watch Doctor Who. It doesn't work that way. So if they thought that, they really are a bit dim, don't you think?
Totally. Absolutely, totally. Yeah, but this is where we're at, though, aren't we? I mean, they're just not going to acknowledge truth anymore because their agenda. I mean, we all know what RTD's agenda is on this because apparently drag queens have rights. Of course, they bloody have rights. They have the same rights as the rest of us, and they already have them there. It's a bloke in a dress, you utter.
Why do you need to say that? I mean, if they need to say that, I would far rather they just made it specific and said, what rights don't they have that makes you need to say that? Because if they're the same as everybody else, if they've got all the same rights as everybody else, which they do, then there is no need to say that. There's no need to say that at all.
It's the thing about the fact a drag queen is an act. It's a performance. It's not a real person's persona. So where are we going with this? That's just crazy, isn't it?
It really is crazy. And the fact that, you know, we have highlighted this particular individual as well here on Headlines, haven't we? And the change that he has introduced onto himself and into his life, and therefore demanding certain well, he's been very demanding of regular people around him now, or normal people around him. You know, no, you can't do that. That's not a right. That's your choice to have done that, and that's fine. But don't assume that you can tread on other people's rights in following your dictates. That's the whole thing about this, isn't it? And this is the danger where we've got now, because as I say, through that old Crone's bloody show, we've got a lot of very confused young men prancing about the place thinking they are actually women, when actually they should be in front, in my opinion, of medical attention and getting psychiatric help.
Well, is a drag queen another gender? Is that what they're saying now? Is that?
I have no idea because it's so confusing. It's ridiculous.
In Derek's case, it's lack of dictates, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
To be quite honest, but you know, they have, when you talk about rights, this rights thing irritates me. It's like, in fact, they have more rights, don't they? Because they have the right
more and more now. Yeah.
They seem to have the rights to get their bits out in front of children, for example, and not be arrested as they should be.
Yes.
And they seem to get away with it for some reason.
They seem to have the right to be able to complain about something and have somebody from the public investigated. And that's coming in more and more here in the UK on a daily basis. We've got Dixie Enormous here. Say hello, Dixie Enormous. I hope you don't mind me saying, but that's an act in itself, isn't it, Dixie Enormous?
That's a Carry-On film. That's from
Carry-On film.
Yes, Madam Dixie Enormous. Yes, but lovely to see you. Welcome to Who's Views. It's so strange how the BBC is now pushing the drag queen. 20 years ago, they wouldn't touch it with a barge pole, leaving it to the likes of early Channel 5 programming. It seems the BBC and 5 have now role revert. I totally agree with that. Every single day they mention some sort of drag queen. From what I can see now as well, on so much of the BBC's programming, there's a drag queen. Whether it be sport, whether it be a news item, whether they're brought on to comment about something. And I think part of that, Dixie, is because, I've mentioned this before, the BBC is so desperate to capture this mythological audience and a young audience, and they think drag queens are the way to do it. And I'm not, you know, frightened of any drag queen, because I work with the best in the business in my career. I've got some fantastic drag queens that are now no longer with us. A couple of them are.
Are they going to have Olympic competitions with like drag queen boxing and stuff like that? Is that going to happen as well?
I just don't understand the BBC's fascination with drag. And it is being called out. I have to tell you, if you're outside the UK, it's been called out more and more by the British public now. We're cottoning on. Actually, somebody said to me just last week, oh, not another bloody drag queen, when she was telling me about a show that came on, which was supposed to be some sort of news show. And they brought out a drag queen to give an opinion on the news. Who cares? And if they are relevant to the subject, why are they in drag? Why do they feel they have to get in drag? Drag queens for me, get back into the bars and be adult entertainers and tell, hopefully, un-PC jokes to an adult audience. Get back in the bars and get off the telly. Because I'm sick of you all
it's
now,
a cabaret
quite
act,
frankly.
isn't it? It's a cabaret show, isn't it? That's it.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm sick of them now. There was a time when I would have said to some of my friends who were drag, can't wait to get you on the telly, i.e., I'll use Paul O'Grady as one. Didn't know him well, but I had met him a couple of times when he made it onto television via Blankety Blank. I was in the audience. That was a long night, but I was there, getting recorded 2 shows, supporting him. You know, fantastic. But now I'm sick of it because the BBC do, as Dixie is saying, have this fixation with them. And drag is a comic act, not a lifestyle choice. Surely, says Sheila B.
Yeah.
Exactly, Sheila B. In your devotions. Exactly. It's a bloody job.
At least Paul O'Grady could do that. He could separate the two, which was perfect.
He did, but eventually,
Yeah.
Paul, he retired the drag because he was fed up. As he said,
Yeah.
I'm sick and tired of putting the lippy on and putting on the stockings and the high heels because he'd been doing it for 20 odd years. So he wanted to be himself. And he was right to do it at that time and presented himself and was more popular as Paul O'Grady with the British public, who just took him to their hearts with his afternoon show and his chat shows and all this.
But
He did do a little bit like James
personality,
Monsoon,
didn't
didn't he? He ended up doing Annie, and he played the woman who runs the home.
He
in
did Annie, and he also did
Yeah.
Prisoner Cell Block H as Lily.
Yeah.
And that was part of the gag.
Yeah.
You know, it worked in that. And actually, Craig Revel Horwood has continued that tradition in Annie because he plays. I'm still a little bit on the fence about this because there are very, very talented women who could play that. Leslie Joseph always comes to mind when I say Annie. I think she should be playing Miss Hannigan because she's just a wonderful actress who can play that brilliantly and be that nasty, vicious, drunky type thing, you know. But that's the world we're in now. It's bizarre. Stunt casting is not new, said Richard Brooks. Of course, it isn't. JNT used to do it all the time. Yeah. But there comes a time when I think you had John Nathan Turner would never have dreamt of putting any of his drag frames in Doctor Who, as Ian has said many, many times on this show, and he never did.
No.
And I know we've had John Pertwee doing drag in The Green Death, which is obviously part of the story that was different. And
it wasn't drag though, was it?
No, it wasn't drag. But I wonder how long it's going to take before Shooty becomes a drag character. That'll be interesting,
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So I tried to give Cardiff ideas there. Sorry about that. Don't forget, scrub that. Yeah.
Oh, I'd never even thought about that.
I just got that image in my head there for a minute. I thought, oh no, he'll be a drag queen, won't he, as well? Yeah.
Well, season 2 is in the can, and we know that it's not going to be in there. And the rumor is, of course, the Daleks are also missing from season 2 to the point where they might be in the 2025 Christmas special. All rumor. It's all rumor. It's all things that we're hearing. It's all fan rumor. That's all I'm saying at that particular point. So I don't know. I mean, I'd never.
So
even
he's
thought
leaving
about
at
that
Christmas. Yay! Good stuff. That's good stuff.
That's Paul. That's Paul winding you all up. You couldn't make this madness up now, says Stephen. You couldn't, because we are in the grip of madness, isn't it? You know, I remember years ago, my grandparents saying to me when I was a teenager, I can't remember the conversation, but basically there will come a time where the lunatics really are in charge of the asylum.
It's happened.
I think we're there. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I think we're there. What have we got here? I honestly don't believe, says Legion of James, their new audience narrative. I think the only thing they're intent on doing, audience or no audience, is pushing the message and push it hard until it is all we get. I agree with that as well, because we're actually seeing that coming in now with our new government, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I saw an interesting video that Ron Atkinson did recently, a couple of days ago. It's really fascinating about freedom of speech. So.
Yeah, but he did that years ago.
No, this is the new one. That's a new one.
Oh, is he doing another one?
Another one, yeah, apparently, yeah. So, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I'll have to go and look for that. And Atherstone 55, the BBC are desperate for any audience. Well, they have to be, because nobody's paying for the license fee anymore. They are down, as I've mentioned before, over 2,400,000 cancellations on the BBC license fee.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because people don't want the license fee because they don't respect the BBC and they don't like the messaging, the forced messaging, and the absolute rubbish it puts out, and being forced to pay for it when you don't watch it. And there's a lot of that now. It's like, there's been recent governmental comments, hasn't there? From who's the Ed Balls' missus, who's the MP now, the Home Secretary. I can't remember.
Oh yes, I can't remember the name.
Yvette Cooper.
Is it Harriet Harman?
No, it's Yvette Cooper.
I got those two mixed up. I don't know. Yeah.
Saying that nobody respects the police, and you look around and you think, "Well, are you surprised, really?" And it's all very obvious, but they can't see it, and they're either very, very dim, or this is what they want. In which case, that just proves that they're very, very dim, really. But I think this is all deliberate. The BBC's on a path of self-destruction.
Well, it's halfway down that path, in my opinion. It's with the current government, they've said they're going to keep it going, but the way the current government going, they're going to be out in 4 years' time, and then what will happen? If that happens and the others get in, they will come back with a bang and undo everything that's been done, and the BBC will be part of that. I can more or less guarantee it. Hello and welcome to Who Views, to Inspector number 23. Never seen you before, so it's lovely to see you. Welcome, 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 welcome. If you're new to the channel, please like the video and please also subscribe to us. If you've already subscribed to the channel, please make sure you're still subscribed, because we have had a lot of people emailing over the last few weeks saying, "Ooh, I've been unsubscribed." And we don't know why that is. It's just algorithms and all this sort of stuff. So, hello, Inspector number 23. Like racing, adding drag effects performance. Yes.
Not true.
That is very, very true. And Raymond's asking, didn't Paul O'Grady also play the child catcher in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang the Music? He did, and he was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. And that was Paul O'Grady, not his alter ego. Paul O'Grady playing that, and he was made for that part, actually. He was just so wicked and brilliant, and the kids in the audience hated him. And that's what you want with that part, don't you? Absolutely fantastic. So thank you for reminding me of that one. This is your point, Paul. Says Richard, Rowan Atkinson has consistently championed free speech. Well done, Blackadder.
Yeah, I think he did a new one recently. There was one a couple of years ago, but he has done one more recently, based on what the Labour government are planning. So I think it's a new one, definitely.
Yeah, another one you'll agree with, Paul. Stephen said my favourite channel now is Talking Pictures. It's far superior to the BBC. Now this one loves Talking Pictures.
I love it. Yeah. Did you watch Cash on Demand, by the way? I
tried, but I fell asleep.
You Philistine, you.
I know, so I'm going to have to go back and find it, aren't I? I'm going to have to go back and watch it. I did try, but I was so tired, I just went to sleep. And Divine Dragon, hello. How can the BBC survive without the license fee and nobody watching the programmes they produce? Well, any answers to that, guys?
I think if it's a governmental mouthpiece, which it is, because the BBC is the BBC isn't even far left. The BBC is extreme of that. It's hard left. And being that way, it's definitely a governmental mouthpiece. So if enough people stop paying for it, I think the BBC will subsidise it. So basically through taxes, because the government has no money of its own, it's all tax money. So we would end up paying for the BBC again anyway, just indirectly, which is in itself criminal. But that's never stopped them before, has it?
The fact is that, allegedly, yeah. Well done, Paul. The fact is, at the moment, they are not liked at all. As I say, over 2,400,000 people have cancelled their TV licenses in the last 6 years. Was it 5 or 6 years? Something very short, anyway. The viewing figures, as we can see from our show, are down dramatically from where they are, and they're not listening. They are not listening. You know, we've actually sent emails and phoned them up to say, complain through their complaints procedures, and they ignore it. And it's actually come out with ex-BBC staff, some of whom are behind the camera, some of whom are in front of the camera, coming around saying they look down on the British public as the great unwashed. Now, some of us have known that for years from experience.
I remember Terry Wogan used to call us that, didn't he, for a long time on the radio, I think, didn't he?
Yeah.
And certainly, but he did it with a joke, didn't he? And
yeah. But maybe it was
because he loved everybody. He loved his audience. Yeah.
Do you think he was trying to tell us something?
Maybe he was, yeah.
I don't think it was, because in those days they actually cared and they listened to an extent about the public, you know, because they were there to entertain. Now you've got all these extreme left-wing ideologists who are there to tell the public what they must think, how they must react, what is right for them, what is wrong for them. And they're doing it through all their programming from children's BBC television, as we know, and all the indoctrines that they've been giving the kids upwards. It's got to stop. And the only way I reckon that can stop is privatize the BBC and let them fend in reality, in the real world of competition today. That has to be a business concern. That's my opinion on the BBC. Get rid of the license fee. The sooner the better. And this current government, in my eyes, by not continuing that practice, well...
And not be
if they went for a
haven
Netflix
certain kinds of
model,
criminality.
sorry,
Sorry,
you
go first.
No, Ian,
if they carry on with a Netflix model, if that's what they're going to do eventually, as you say, they'll have to make the quality of the programming so much better. Otherwise, it will die completely because no one will pay for it.
Well, I've
If it's
given
not
them the model.
compulsory, if it's not compulsory and you're forced to do it by law, whatever, blah, 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 if you want to watch TV, etc., then if the quality of the program is rubbish, then people won't buy it if it's a Netflix model, will they? You know,
I've told them what they can do on this very show. If you are watching from BBC Studios, go back and watch the other shows, will you? Because in a couple of them, I tell you how you can get out the mess you're in. What were you saying, Ian?
I was going to say they also need to stop being a haven for certain kinds of criminality that generally targets children.
allegedly.
Allegedly. Well, I mean,
That's not
is
alleged,
it
to
alleged?
be fair.
It's not alleged now, is it? I mean, you know,
No,
they
not
do
recently,
have a
certainly,
very
no,
good track record.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so as ever, it's in a mess. It's always going to be in a mess. Hello and welcome to Who's Views to SOF TV, Soft TV. Hi, folks. I'm currently rewatching The Three Doctors, proper Doctor Who. Would love to hear your thoughts on the serial. It's always been one of my favourites. Well, actually, we reviewed it last Christmas. So if you go to our playlist, yeah, it's a great story. If you go to our playlist, Who's Views Reviews, and look down there, you'll see it was one of our Christmas episodes last December. There you go, Soft TV. So after this show, you can go and look at that one.
A little spoiler, Ur Custy loved it as well, didn't she?
Yes, she did. Yeah, because we
love
celebrated
the story,
its
love the
anniversary.
book, and love the reading of the book as well by Katie Manning.
Yeah, we celebrated its anniversary last December with that show. So go and have a look. It was 50. So go and have a look at that. So we've got all this. So thank you so much, as ever. As I keep saying, thank you so much for everybody for all your chat on this particular one. But I don't know. Yeah, look at that. We've got Lee saying to us, I fear RTD will have the Doctor die out of spite. I would like to think that the Daleks, for a couple of you that were saying there, will come back in his last episode and kill him off. And then he can cry as he regenerates.
yeah. Drowning in his own tears, that's what happens, allegedly.
Rick is talking to it. The TARDIS lands, door opens, out steps the Doctor, twerking to a song for approximately 2 seconds. Exterminate, he's hit by a blast. Exterminate, he's hit again and again. And we'd all pay for that one, actually, wouldn't we? There's your movie. Just an hour of that happening, I'd be happy with.
There'd be a queue of Daleks queuing up to exterminate him. That'd be fabulous. Yeah.
Well, that'd be fab, wouldn't it? Next one. Yeah, fantastic. That's a hit. That is a hit one there for you.
Is that a bit like the Doctor Who Unbound big finish? Full Fathom 5, was it? Where the Doctor regenerated, was shot, regenerated again, and they shot him again because they were just decided
that was really nasty. David Collins playing the Doctor in that, wasn't he? Yeah. Really, quite a good story, actually. Very good. He's quite a good Doctor as well, I thought, in that. Yeah.
David Collins is one of the Doctors we should have had but didn't.
Yeah. Superb. Yeah.
Not that I'm ungrateful for the 7 we got. I am not ungrateful for the 7 we got, but it was one of those that we could have got had the show not coming off. You know what I mean? Collins was still around there. There were a few others, as we've spoken about before on this show. But anyway, that's where we've got up to with that. And this whole chat about... I'm bearing in mind that audience at San Diego Comic-Con were the audience they are going for. And that's why it was a small turnout. Really,
they had a few chromosomes missing, didn't they?
Yeah, it could have been much larger. They could have much larger if they only made Doctor Who for the bigger audience now. But that's the audience they're going for. And that's the other reason why they think everything's fine. But when you get people like Collider saying to them, which drag queen you're bringing it back, you know, or bringing in next, that makes them think, oh, that was popular. Oh, that was great. Or that bit of casting worked. Maybe we should look at it again. And as I say, we know where Davies is coming from. don't be surprised. That's all I'm trying to say. Don't be surprised when it's announced they are going for a third series. Don't be surprised when they're going to announce a spin-off. And don't be surprised when they say, now we've got Bag of Chips coming into it, or whatever drag queen it's going to be. Don't be surprised, because they're so desperate to keep in with that minority audience rather than making it a majority audience like it used to be. And like when you go back and look at these, the original 26-year run, it still is. You know, because you can still watch any of those episodes from that superior 26-year run and find it accessible, as we've just proved very, very recently. I want to thank at this point, tying into that, a huge thank you to everybody that has got in touch and thanked us for our Worlds Below season, which we've just started. We started last week with our overview as we entered the worlds of the Silurians and the Sea Devils. I want to say a huge thank you. I've got some names here. I want to say thank you to Michael Q, to Stephen Braddock, who's in the chat with us as well, Barry, Baz, Xavier, John, and Michael Webster, Zardos Speaks to Me, Theodore Benton, the Legion of James, Sean B7M, Mudcrab, Stuart Busby, Gary Bryant, Graham 70694, and Matty. Thank you so much, everybody, for your wonderful, wonderful comments and emails about Doctor Who and the Silurians, which we looked at this week. I want to say a huge thank you, because everybody seems to be enjoying it, which is brilliant. And yes, I've got a couple of illustrations here as well. This one's come in. This one is from Stephen. Thank you, Stephen Braddock, for his interpretation of the Silurians.
That's very nice, Stephen. Lovely, lovely.
Yeah.
Another one from Stephen. Appreciate that, mate. Thank you. Keep them coming. But that's a great one, that, isn't it?
Lovely.
Yeah. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And joining us for Doctor Who and the Silurians on the Whotastic panel was Jack. So hello, Jack, if you are watching. Hope everything's all right with you. But he sent us a drawing of a Silurian and a Sea Devil.
Oh, very nice.
Wow. Love the faces. Love them.
They're very good, aren't they? I love the Sea Devil as well, because he looks quite cute there.
Yeah.
But I love that. But so thanks for that, Jack. Really appreciate it. But again, thank you so much for going on and joining us for our Worlds Below series. We're not even, well, this week we're going to be halfway through, because this Wednesday we get to this one. We're jumping to 1984. And as Paul mentioned earlier, he's already watched it. We're going to be reviewing Warriors of the Deep from Peter Davison's last series as the Doctor. So you've still got time to go and find your DVD, or find it on the iPlayer or your VHS or wherever you're finding Doctor Who these days. Go and watch Warriors of the Deep and join us live this Wednesday at 8 p.m. UK time for our review of Warriors of the Deep. I can't wait, basically. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a fab show. Don't forget, you'll get scores on the TARDIS door.
That was a great show, wasn't it?
Silurians a great show. Yeah.
Loved it.
We've got a few more to come for you, obviously, including Warriors of the Deep, and then we move into the Matt Smith era. So we're doing that. Oh, and again, I just want to say, for those of you who have asked me, no, we're not missing out the Sea Devils. We will definitely be getting to the Sea Devils, but we're going to save it until nearer to the time when this new thing's coming out. So it'll probably be next year, but it will be added to this collection of Worlds Below. Don't worry about it. And we do have another special show coming up next month for you as part of the Worlds Below, where we look at the music of these episodes, all in one big live show. So as part of our Sound of Music. So exciting. But everybody, Paul, Third Doctor Ian, Who viewers, we're not quite finished with the Silurians yet, have we? Oh, no.
No.
Because they're on the way back. And we said this, and we all know this, but this was confirmed in radiotimes.com just this week as Doctor Who cast Sherlock and Casualty stars in the Christmas special. All we want for Christmas is an awkward Silurian.
Do we? Oh, no.
Now, who was it on the panel who said that it was George, I think, who said that this next Silurian looked as if he's going to be there for comic relief. George, if you're watching, congratulations, because you're absolutely right. The Radio Times continues with this article. While we're still a good few months away from the Doctor Who Christmas, fans are clamouring for more details.
Are we?
So funny. So funny. Yes, and thankfully, some new castings have now been revealed. Joy to the World, written by former Doctor Who showrunner Stephen Moffat, will star Nicola Coughlan as a character called Joy, predictable, we said this ages ago, with Gatwa, of course, returning as the 15th Doctor. Audiences at San Diego Comic-Con were treated to a glorious preview of the new special, which saw the Doctor delivering the goods, a ham and cheese toastie and a pumpkin latte at different points across time and space. And we were so excited about this, weren't we? We were so excited about this. People were, just queuing up at the door because of this thing. They were that excited.
Yeah.
I'm sure sales of
they've gone home
pumpkin lattes went through the roof.
Pumpkin latte, they've gone through the roof, yes, through various coffee
Have
places.
you ever had a pumpkin latte? Sounds disgusting, I have to say.
That sounds
The
disgusting.
sister has. But anyway, let's get on to this.
Do you like them?
The Christmas special will star dark actor Peter Benedict as Basil and Casualty star Julia Watson as Hilda, the pair at the Queen's Hotel in Manchester during the Second World War. And brace yourselves. Steph DeWally plays Anita, who shows Joy to her room at the Sandringham Hotel in 2024, while a Silurian called Melnak, played by Sherlock regular Jonathan Arris, wanders into her room despite the locked door. So there we go. It's been confirmed. That is a Silurian. It's another one. It's a male one this time round, which we haven't seen since Cold Blood. And it's Jonathan Arris. Now, we said this. Now, Jonathan Arris is no stranger to Doctor Who. You may remember he played another latex version character in David Tennant's last episode. Here he is. This is Jonathan Arris without any of the latex. You will know his face because he has been around for a lot of time. He's done some fantastic dramas for both the BBC ITV, Channel 4, Channel 5 and other films. So he's been around for a while. But here he is. The article continues, by the way, with this. Coughlan has described her character Joy as a determined woman whose life is changed forever when she meets the Doctor. I've heard that before somewhere.
Said that every time, haven't they? Every single time.
Moffat, who's returning after penning the season 14 episode Boom, has also teased that we may endure some heartbreak during the Christmas special too, so prepare yourselves. I've heard that before. He previously said
yada. Yeah.
He previously said of returning for the festive adventure, it was just fun. It was quite nice that I had my old job back for exactly one episode, and then I could go and lie down. Russell has to keep toiling away all the time, constantly.
What a shame.
Davis himself has also teased what fans can expect from the special. I can't give away much more, but work has begun on it already, and it's mad. It's one of the maddest Christmas specials you'll ever see. He said during a behind-the-scenes video on YouTube, I've heard all this stuff before. You know, especially this next bit, that last bit there. It's epic. It goes to so many different places, and it's a great story of who the Doctor is when he's alone. It's repeating stuff again, isn't it?
Yeah.
But all this and what looks like a very camp male Silurian. Yeah. Why is he in a suit? Why is he out of hibernation? And why is he working in a hotel?
When you look at the ratings, the Doctor's virtually on his own anyway, isn't he? But I mean, it's Moffat. It's Moffat. It's Moffat making a Silurian as light relief in the same way that Moffat made a Sontaran as light relief.
Yeah.
It's same old, which is just what this revamp has done for years, to be honest. It's done it for years.
Delete as applicable, that's it basically.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you go back and you look at when they used to do those sort of like episode posters, like movie posters, and there was one for Matt Smith's finale, and he's there holding a severed Cyberman head, and then you look at Capaldi's first season, and the poster was Capaldi standing there holding a severed Cyberman's head. You know, they were even so blatant about it then, even on the little bits. But it's just constant repetition. I don't think they've got a fresh idea between them, to be honest. I really don't.
Stephen Moffat said this is going to be his last episode of Doctor Who. Yeah,
I don't believe a word he says.
Yeah,
well, you can't believe a word any of them say.
No,
you just can't. But it's like Jodie says on our reviews, they've forgotten what Doctor Who is.
Yeah,
and I totally agree with her, because why do this? I mean, he's basically going to do a Madame Vastra in a camp way, isn't he?
Yeah,
and in a complete, instead of doing the female version, surprise, they've done a male version now. Why are these creatures out of hibernation? Why would their tribe allow them out of hibernation to go and work in a hotel?
And it'll be timey-wimey as well, obviously.
Of course it will.
It's ridiculous, isn't it, really? Absolutely ridiculous. There are lots of you commenting about this already. I'll need a spell in hospital after watching, said Pete Harrington. I think we all will.
Good luck, Peter, with that. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, dear oh dear, says Dalek Eye. Nice to see you, and thank you for that. Hello, Marjorie, who's joining us as well. Nice to see you. Michael Hallett says the Grinch. Who, me or the... What else have we got here? I don't remember that, says the Peter Venkman fan site. Well, it's coming up. That's why it hasn't been broadcast yet. You're saying something else. No one wants to watch it, says Richard Brooks. And Lex Kane is joining us with, I'm not looking forward to this Christmas special, even though I'll review it for him. Hey, stop plugging your own YouTube channel on my show. Get off. Pete's also saying this is going to be scintillating television.
Not.
Yeah, we're all excited about it, aren't we? I can't. Do you know what I'm
Can't
looking
wait
forward
to review it, though. That'll be fun. So yeah.
That's what I was just about to say.
yeah.
I'll be looking forward to our review when we all get back after the episode's been broadcast and we all get together again with a cup of hot whatever it is, pumpkin juice.
latte.
Yeah, and we all talk about it. And Stephen is saying to us, no, what have you done to the majestic race of Silurians? This is what I'm saying. And we'll probably get into this more when we start reviewing in a couple of weeks, The Hungry Earth and Cold Blood, because that's the downfall for me. Spoiler alert for that show. Yeah. And then they go into all that Madame Vestra nonsense. And now we've got this guy coming up. Nothing against the actor at all. He's a very capable actor. As I say, he's been around for years and years and years. He's done some wonderful stuff. But another one where they've just thought, oh, yeah, we can use the Silurians for this, but without any explanation. Oh, yeah.
If they're going to do a comic Alien, can they not use one of their own, you know?
Yeah, make up your own.
Or use a previous one like Slovene or something, or Bana Cavalata or whatever, that sort of thing. All that nonsense. Yeah,
or the green ones from the End of Time.
Vinvoce, that's right.
Thank you. Shimmers.
You nerd.
I can't remember the name.
I know.
Yeah. Peter Venkman fan site saying pumpkin, it's more like soy lattes, isn't it? And Garbage is our resident coffee expert, of course. Pumpkin spice is not made from pumpkins, it's made from cinnamon and spices. So why is it called pumpkin then? Go on then.
All I know about pumpkins is that when I had chickens once, the kids had done the lanterns and everything, but the chickens, my God, they love the seeds that you scoop out.
Do they?
Oh, yeah, they love that. Good for chickens.
Bill Lowry is saying to us here, only if the definition of clamoring is I have no interest whatsoever. Again, Bill, we're going to be looking at this because I'm also interested to see what on Christmas Day, and I'm assuming it's going to be on Christmas Day, probably after the Wallace and Gromit return of Feathers McGraw film. I want to see what the ratings are going to be on the big day, on the big Christmas Day when you've got a captured audience. Let's have a look at that. So Sydney Rough Diamond is saying to us that Silurian looks awful. Doesn't it just? As they
did through Matt Smith and Capaldi.
Yeah. Face palm from Peter Venkman fan site. And Marjorie is saying to us Jonathan Harris looks like a younger Gary Oldman. You think so?
With or without the makeup for the side?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah,
see what she means. Yeah.
Do you
see it, Paul?
I can see it a little bit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah. Why they keep putting him in latex though? I don't know, because he is a very good character actor. He is a talent. So why they keep sticking him behind these and giving him these stupid alien roles, or now a Silurian? I don't know. But still, I suppose he's taking the money. So well done.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
Well done. Garbage is saying RTD just go away now.
That sounds like Critical Drinker to me.
Yeah, copyright Critical Drinker. G35, hello to you. Welcome to Who's Views. It's nice to see you. What you're saying to us. New series has destroyed what was carefully crafted Silurian culture, and the redesign is pants. G35, we are, as I say, coming up to Warriors of the Deep in our Worlds Below series, where we are celebrating the Silurians and the Sea Devils in anticipation of this new pile of this new series that is on the way, starring the Sea Devils. So please come and join us for our reviews, because now that we've looked at in the Silurians, part the Sea Devils, because we're going to need to talk about that, I'm sure, and refresh our memories of what good telly is. Now we're going to Warriors of the Deep, and then we're going to the 2 Matt Smith episodes. I think there's going to be this conversation coming in. From my point of view, having watched them all recently, oh yes, we're going to be talking about the destruction of what you've called beautifully the carefully crafted Silurian culture, which culminates into this blooming thing at Christmas. Julianne, rubbishy looking Silurian, rubbishy sounding plot. Do you not think, Julianne, that the plot Sounds familiar?
Yeah. I think there could be a retread of Time Windows, like from Girl in the Fireplace myself, but that's my theory. But
Can't. Oh, the lonely doctor. What happens when he's? We all know what happens when the doctor's not there. He usually gets another dolly bird to go with him. For heaven's sake.
Yeah.
And it's happened here. This is going to be like Astrid. This is going to be like Donna. This is going to be the one-off Christmas companion. Then he toddles off, meets the next girl in episode 1, and then the previous girl will come back in episode 3. Blah blah blah. I can predict it now. I should get an award.
And if Joy, the character of Joy, is popular, she'll come back another season later on down the line. Yeah, as well. Yeah.
She's probably too busy with Bridgerton, quite frankly, because she's a
well,
series regular in there, isn't she? But I know her, of course, from Derry Girls, as I've said before, which was hilarious. Probably wouldn't be made today. Legion of James is putting it right, guys. Cut and paste stories, cut and paste promotion.
Yeah.
They're using AI to write stuff. They said that before, didn't they?
But they got rid of it, though, didn't they?
Yeah.
They got rid of that.
Actual idiots.
Yeah. Good night to Rose, who has left us there. So our very own Rose. Good night to you. Thank you for joining us. Neville is saying it's a good lizard person. It's just not a Silurian.
Yeah.
But the thing is, as well, with Doctor Who, Neville, is you can't have another race of lizard-type people now because we've got the Silurians and Sea Devils there. But the fact that they're taking other people's work, Malcolm Hulke's work, Barry Lett's work, Terrence Dix's work, the fact that they're doing it, I just know that Barry Letts and Terrence Dix would have looked at Madame Vestra in horror.
Yeah.
In
Completely.
horror. I mean, Terrence Dix wasn't too fond of the ones that appeared in The Warriors of the Deep. I might save that for Wednesday, the story there. But he didn't like the look of them there. But he said the story was sound. It just needed more rewriting. But that's what he got from that. But it's true. And Lee is saying to us, no way am I watching that on my Christmas Day birthday. Oh, that's nice to know.
Oh, no, one set of presents. Oh, no.
Yeah, if you know somebody who's got a Christmas Day birthday, please don't give them one set of presents. It's cheating. Give them 2, one for their birthday and one for Christmas. It's not fair. Never liked that. Give them 2 presents, you miseries. Wouldn't you say, Lee? Wouldn't you say to that? Listen, we'll have to try and remember that. Lee, you'll have to try and join us on our Christmas shows so that we can try and remember, because we're all useless. So that would be nice. Oh, how lovely. I have no hope, says Dividing Dragon, for a quality Christmas special. RTD and Moffat appear creatively exhausted at this point. That's a brilliant point, isn't it? That's an absolutely brilliant point, because that's why the show should have been rested, to take it away from them, take it away from their era, because Moffat was obviously getting very tired because he did 6,000 years. So was RTD, and now he's come back and he's rehashing his greatest hits, as it were, and throwing in elements of politics that he wants to. But it's a damn good point, isn't it?
I think they're creatively bankrupt, not simply exhausted, I think.
Pete's saying to us here as well, maybe he's a businessman, Silurian from the... Oh, I don't care. And Dalek Eye is making the point I agree with. Monsters and aliens are just not meant to be scary anymore in case the poor kiddies are traumatized. Really? Yes, it is. You can't traumatize or scare the kids in any way now in case they have a nightmare or something like that. It's all got to be cotton wool, and everybody's got to be brought back if they're killed off, because you're not allowed to do that, because these people are obsessed with this nonsense. Didn't do us any harm, did it?
No, look at us. We're quite well balanced, us, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say so. And so does my psychotherapist.
Part of it was, you know, when you look at the original Doctor, guessing who's going to survive and who didn't. I mean, I remember Horror of Fang Rock being absolutely shocked that nobody got through it, to be quite honest. Because the Doctor always had at least one person there to say goodbye to. Not in that one. You know, and I remember being at the time being thrilled, but just going, oh.
Now, that was great. Horror Fang Rock. That's how to do scary stories.
It absolutely is. Yeah.
Yes. Stephen Braddock is saying Wallace and Gromit would trance this rubbish. Of course it's going to. And that'll be on
that's why
earlier.
they're going to try and put it on after, isn't it? Because they want it to benefit from that high rating. But I think
they'll
if they
do that, then do that. Probably.
Yeah.
It will, because it's just the support's not there for Doctor Who, and people have heard too much about how bad it is, and shows like ours have helped that, because we're not talking about it as fans. We're not going around saying, "Oh, it was the best thing since sliced bread," because it's not. I had a gentleman coming around recently to look at some lighting here in the loft, and the electrician came in and he looked at me. Oh my God, look at this collection! Oh my God! And he said, how long have you? And I told him I'd been collecting since I was a kid, but I said, I don't collect anymore, though. And he said, why? Is that because the series is rubbish? I said, yes, exactly because of that. He said, it's a shame, isn't it? It's a shame, really. I said, yes, and there's millions of us that feel the same. He said, I watched one with that woman. Wasn't very good, was it? And then I came back from that bloke, the new bloke, and I thought, well, this was rubbish. Didn't get through the episodes, but there you go. That's the public for you, BBC Studios. Disney Plus, Bad Wolf. That's the audience you're missing, the great British public.
But for every electrician that doesn't watch it, another 3 or 4 will.
Yeah. And as Jinx Monsoon said as well, for every that doesn't, 3 or 4 will come up, please. Didn't work, did it?
But only after 28 days or thereabouts.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Wallace and Gromit, I can predict now. I reckon Wallace and Gromit will either be on at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 5 o'clock on Christmas Day afternoon, followed by Strictly and Doctor Who. Or Wallace and Gromit, Doctor Who, Strictly. Actually, that's the format I think it'll be. Wallace and Gromit.
Maybe 3:15 because that's King's speech, isn't it? 3 o'clock.
Yeah, it is actually.
I would laugh if it gets pushed to Boxing Day, though. I really would. But,
brilliant. It'd be a hell of a.
Imagine if they moved it to Boxing Day. I don't think people would be very happy. I reckon Russell's in there though with this crowd to be able to say, no, I want it on Christmas night, please, Christmas afternoon. So we'll see that. But yeah, Wallace and Gromit, I think, will win. Place your bets now, everybody. That Silurian reminds me of the Lizard Man from the X-Files final episodes, said Neville. I don't think I ever saw them because I think I was disillusioned around about series 7. I think it got too much for me, Neville. I can't be done with this anymore. Although I did go back for the films. Mark is telling us, hello, Mark, our resident poet laureate. It looks like another Fear Her episode. Oh, God.
Well, they'll have to edit that one as well, then.
I was going to say, don't start that one. Oh, goodness me. Noel was with us as well. Noel Thrussell was here with us. Hello, Noel. He's popped off now, so hopefully he's going to catch back in the playback. And Nibbles, Silurians and government controlling the world would be cool, but not working in a hotel. Come on now. No, I'm just assuming he's working in a hotel. He might not be. He might be a businessman, as the others were saying there. I'm just assuming he's working in a hotel because of that scene we saw. And Atherstone is saying it's my birthday on Christmas Day as well, and I won't be watching this crap. Oh, gosh, we've got some Christmas birthdays there, guys. Somebody make a note. You have to let us know. Let's have a look. So thank you so much. Tyler Durden Smile. I don't think they are using artificial intelligence. It's just natural stupidity.
Correct. Yeah.
Fantastic. And Atherstone is also saying it will definitely get the bounce from Wallace and Gromit, and it only has to be on for the start, and then they will count that. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, what they tend to do with Doctor Who under RTD and Moffat at Christmas is try to do that sort of Christmas afternoon film blockbuster type thing, like The Voyage of the Damned, don't they? And The Runaway Bride. Yeah. It's supposed to be that sort of, ironically for them, the old-fashioned sort of special for Christmas Day that we used to have. It's supposed to be that big blockbuster adventure, Towering Inferno, Ben-Hur type thing, Never really pulled it off in my estimation, but there you go. Matthew Pounder is saying it will be a Boxing Day special because the Americans will get it first. Now, you're referring to the Disney deal there, Matthew, aren't you? Maybe there's a deal because it's Christmas Day, because the BBC will want it on Christmas Day. Russell will want it on Christmas Day. So maybe because it's a Christmas one, we got it the same time last year, didn't we? For the Church on Ruby Road. Yeah. So I reckon they'll repeat that. I do. I think everybody will get it on whatever time scale they do. But you're right, the Americans will get it on Christmas Day before us, just because of the time difference. What do you think, Guy?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
If they don't get that ideal slot that they want to benefit from the ratings boost, which is an artificial inflation of the ratings, isn't it? If they don't get that, then that's a huge statement in itself.
Yeah.
About the BBC's faith in it. And funny.
Yeah. It's it'll be on Christmas Day, whatever happens, but we will know soon. Where are we now? We're nearly in September. The schedules are usually brought out in November, end of November. It's not far. And we've got lots to entertain you until then here on Who's Views, including our Worlds Below season, as I'm saying here, where we are celebrating the Silurians and Sea Devils as we build up to what's coming. I zoomed in on the Silurians badge, says Stephen, and it says manager. There you go. Oh, dearie me. Oh, dearie me. I can hear people in their graves turning over now. And Mark Milford also, the classic Silurians and Sea Devils are unforgettable. The newer versions, I just don't remember.
Yeah.
I'm so looking forward to talking to you all about the Hungry Earth and Cold Blood. Really, really are. Can't wait for all that. But that's that particular one, isn't it? So thank you for everybody. Again, oh, here's Boomer Doug. Hello, Boomer Doug. How are you? Nice to see you. Hello, all. I'm late to the party. First live chat for a while, very early here in the land down under, and I'm enjoying the show as always. It reminds me of a song. Thank you for getting up very, very early to see us. Nice to see you, Boomer Doug. Lovely, 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 lovely. Thank you for that. And Richard is also saying people will switch off after Wallace and Gromit. ITV really have the opportunity to steal the ratings this year, don't they? Don't forget, there's also going to be Phil. Are you watching us? Hello, Phil. Probably not. He's still on holiday. But Phil, when you're watching this, there is, of course, a Christmas special of Gladiators. Now, if they put that on Christmas Day, that will be a huge hit.
Yeah,
that could be something. Because
if they put that on after Wallace and Gromit,
I bet it gets more ratings than Doctor Who does. Gladiators.
I don't doubt that for a second.
Yeah,
because you've got to have your Christmas Day special of Strictly in there as well. So something's going to have to get the nudge. Because if you've got Wallace and Gromit, you've got Gladiators, and you've got
Gladiators got better ratings this year.
Yeah.
Because they'll have their producers arguing for that ideal slot as well, and they do have a better justification for it.
Yeah, it's true. It's absolutely true. Absolutely true. This is what I love about chatting to everybody who's a Who fan, because this is what we do. We speculate. We make things up.
It's half the fun, isn't it? That's the thing.
It is. It's traditional Doctor Who fan chat. This is. You don't get it anywhere else. You only get it here on Who's Views. Welcome to the British chat. Somebody who isn't British, our very own Michael, who's woke up. Morning, lads. Coffee in hand, ready to scroll back. Great to see you. Thank you so much. Hope you're feeling better. Thank you. I hope you're doing well. Michael, good morning to you.
Morning, Michael.
Lex is saying to us, Channel 5, All Creatures Great and Small will do well at Christmas. I can't wait. I am a huge, big fan, as people will know, of the new version of All Creatures Great and Small, which, by the way, has here in the UK, season 1 has just been delivered to Netflix. And I actually watched it on Friday. I thought, well, I'll just watch one episode of that. The next thing I know, I've watched all 7 episodes, which includes their first ever Christmas special, because it's that good.
Has Madame Vasta turned up in that, though? She could be a character in that.
Not yet. Not
yet. She's coming, though, isn't she? I think.
But the next series of All Creatures Great and Small is on the way. It's going to be here, I think, September. Channel 5 will broadcast it, or October. And there is a Christmas special as well. And they are always very nice. They're done because it's set in the 1940s, Who's Views, if you don't know. You have that lovely sort of British feel that they managed to translate, you know, the way the tinsel is, the way the lights look, the way the people are dressed. It's beautiful. I love that show. I should start doing reviews on it, actually, where I just say, love it, love it, love it for a couple of hours. It's just a great series. So, yes, you're right, Lex. Thank you for reminding me that that's going to be on. And Talons is predicting The King's Speech. Gladiators, Wallace and Gromit, Doctor Who, Strictly, and then Mrs. Brown Boys. Mrs. Brown Boys should be on around about 11:30 on Christmas night, because no bugger's watching that one either.
Yeah.
And they admit that, don't they?
They do.
Yeah.
They absolutely do.
Bizarrely.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. We've also got this. My hand has been killing me, so thanks for a great time taking my mind off it, says Stephen. And thank you again for your art there. I really, really, really appreciate it. So thank you. And
is that sketch of Delgado one of Stephen's as well? Is it? It's very good.
It is.
Say that again.
He gets his expression, doesn't he?
He's got a picture of Delgado. Is that one of his sketches? It's very good.
Yes.
If it is. Yeah.
Really got the expression.
Yeah, really, really good. So listen, that's where we're up to. That's where we got. So there we go. It's been confirmed that the Silurian is back. A Silurian is back. It's Melnak. He's back in the alleged Christmas special coming up this year. Joy to the World. It's played once again by Jonathan Arris, who played, what was it, Paul? Sorry.
Vinvoce, it was, wasn't it? Vinvoce?
The Vinvoce spiky green thing from the end of time all those years ago. He's now back into Doctor Who. So welcome back to him. And I hope you enjoyed your time back in Doctor Who. There we go. So thank you. I just want to say thank you very much again for joining us for this particular show of Headlines. I hope you've enjoyed it. Quite an interesting chat again tonight. I thought, everybody, thank you
Yeah.
so much. As we've mentioned before, we will be back Wednesday live on this very channel, 8 o'clock p.m. UK time, for part 3 of our Worlds Below series, where we are going to be reviewing Warriors of the Deep. Looking forward to that. Come and join us. Third Doctor Ian and Paul, thank you so much once again for being part of the show.
Thank you. You're very welcome.
Yeah, and I will see you guys on Wednesday, of course, as well. Come and join us then for what we're going to be looking at. Warriors of the Deep. Go and watch it. Go and watch Warriors of the Deep to make sure you've got refreshing your mind, and come and chat to us about that. And we will be seeing you. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Make sure you are still subscribed to the channel if you are not. We've got lots more coming up for you between now and Christmas. I can guarantee you. Oh, gosh. Think of all the headlines we're going to be talking about as more comes out about this nonsense, this episode.
It's the gift that keeps on giving, isn't it?
It really, really
They
is.
can't help themselves.
Everybody's saying thank you and good night to us all in the chat. I'll say a collective thank you for that. We will be seeing you very, very soon. Until then, look after yourselves. Bye, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.